In there. Go.
We're live. Sorry.
We're live. We're live. Hey, everybody. That's right. Another Thursday.
My fault. I didn't give him the cue.
Another Thursday. Another impromptu start from my producer, the main man over here, Mav. And we'll get to him in a second. But hey, everybody, welcome to PM in the PM. Pog and Mav in the PM. You know how we do it here on Thursday nights. If we were prepared, if we had everything laid out, like let's say Mr. Boomstick does, right? Shout out to Boom, who lays everything out for his shows. You'd come here and you'd be like, what is this shit? This isn't Pong and Mav. So, hey, we're going to start the show this way. Welcome Thursday night. Glad you all could be here. It is what? Thursday, August the 24th. We are exactly 1 week away from Starfield launch for early access, at least. There's two launches, of course, early access, and then, of course, the regular launch. But my God, are we getting info? It is Gamers Christmas. Happy PC Armored Core 6 launch day. I know brother from another Steel Rain is going to be streaming over on the Living Split Screen channel, I believe, Armored Core 6. So you can two-tab it right now if you want to. I believe he's going live the same time we are. I just got it downloaded. I just completed the download for Armored Core 6. So yes, I committed to it. But what a week. Gamescom, ABK News, all sorts of craziness going on this week. Again, Gamers Christmas Part 2 this year. But this one is almost too much. Like there's so much. Like Mav and I were just talking about, that's what we were getting into prior to the show. Like there's so much to talk about. The interviews this week over the past couple of days with Phil and Pete Hines, Todd, have been absolutely ridiculously filled with information. We got news dropping, Baldur's Gate 3, all sorts of stuff. We're going to get into it tonight. Don't know where this is going to go, like always, but we got a lot to talk about. We don't know how long we're going to be here for. So let's get down to business. But before we do, obviously, I got to introduce my right-hand man, the owner of the Fun Speculation Network, the man who is not afraid to go live at like 2 a.m. Central Time, 3 a.m. Eastern Time with breaking ABK news. I saw that after I woke up the other day. I'm like, are you kidding me, Mav? You actually did this? Okay. Yes. No, this man.
I forgot about that news already too, man. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Never say that my co-host is not dedicated to the profession, because he is, folks. So the one, the only Fun Speculation, AKA Mav. What is going on, brother? How has your week been going? You got anything? I know we were talking about behind the scenes because lead up to Starfield is kind of killing the want to play anything else right now. But what have you been doing, brother? Anything good?
Man, gaming is ruined for me right now. Currently, I mean, there's so many amazing things to play, but it doesn't feel like it when the only thing you want to play is Starfield. Right. So, man, I in the Armored Core thing, I keep thinking about, do I want to get it? Do I want to get it? You know, like people were telling me, hey, there's a site that's selling it for like 45. I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. You know,
I got it for 47 on
47
CD keys on PC.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about it. I'm like, do I pull the trigger? But it's like, honestly, like as much as I probably will have some fun with it, there's so many other games right now that I also would have fun with, and it's just like I don't even want to play. I just want to play Starfield. I ended up playing and launching Fallout 4 last night on PC because that's like the closest thing I can get. Just because it's like it is a Bethesda single player RPG. So that's like I'm just trying to find an itch. Like I got this itch that needs to be scratched. It's not going to be relieved until Starfield comes out. So it is what it is, but I did have some fun with that last night, and I played a little Madden here and there this week, and Baldur's Gate 3 I kind of like have taken a little break from after Act 1. I finished Act 1. Currently I'm like in this like break mode. I feel like something I want to tackle later. Like I'm at a good place to take that break because Act 1 I put 40 something hours into it, bro. Like
correct.
So I'm gonna kind of take a break from that and Don't want to get into it right before Starfield comes out, honestly. Like play Starfield, and then I'll get back maybe into Baldur's Gate 3 later this year. Interestingly enough, maybe not even on the PC. So
that is correct.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's been a good week, man. Just a lot of work stuff and playing games and thinking about Starfield, talking about Starfield, tweeting about Starfield, just everything Starfield, bro. Like it's all in my mind.
I don't blame you. And this week has not helped in any way, shape, or form.
No, it has made it worse.
Between interviews, like it's crazy. It's why do I have voice in my head? Oh my God. I don't know what I just did. I turned on voice. Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh my God.
You can hear yourself?
Yes, hold on. Let me get rid of
going to make you talk like this.
No. I turned on somehow on the PC. I turned on Reader and it started reading all of Twitter.
Oh my God.
So, it was going through all of Twitter. All right, I got it off. We're good.
Wow. I would love to hear that.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I don't even know how I turned it on, but all of a sudden it started reading everything on Twitter. All right. Anyways,
that'd have been funny if it started reading it on the show.
That would have been awesome. Because it was going through DMs. So that would have been
sucks. They keep missing Xbox games. Yeah, how do they keep doing this?
Another week. That's exactly what she was sounding like. So anyways, yeah, no, Starfield, the hype has just being built in more and more. So yeah, no, I'm kind of in your same boat. Like again, I've been trying to get to bed earlier at night, I've been coming home really late at night, and so I've stayed away from Baldur's Gate as much as I've had withdrawals, as much as I've wanted to hop in there, especially after they released the latest hotfix patch number 4. And I've heard nothing but great things about what that's improved. Like, yeah, I've been staying away from Baldur's Gate as well. It's something I'll probably mix in once I get through my initial, whatever it is, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month of Starfield, I'll start mixing Baldur's Gate 3 in again. But I've been back, Mav, on Diablo 4. Because it's been easy for me to kind of just play through and put down again, especially going through as single player because nobody else has been hopping on at night. So it's just been kind of me. So I've just been doing, the usual stuff, the grind mode as it is, trying to find some uniques and that kind of stuff. But it's been easier for me to put back down again, trying to get through the season. Obviously, I'm at like level 75 in the season pass or 76 in the season pass. So I've been just working on that, trying to get to that 100 mark. So at least I get my value out of the ultimate edition that I purchased. So I still love the game, still have a great time. Running it single player reminds me of Diablo 3 when I did, most of that. I ran through it with my kiddo, Diablo 3, that is. But I also did a lot of it single player. So it just kind of feels like that again. Loving my build. Obviously, as a Necro, still having fun, and it's a powerful build, at least to me. So, I can run nightmare dungeons by myself and that kind of stuff. So just didn't do a lot of Diablo 4 and having a good time there. I did download Aura, not Aura, Humankind.
That was like early, huh?
Yeah, no, I did not download Aura yet. I did download Humankind and, of course, Age of Empires 4. Have not touched Age of Empires 4 yet. Obviously, I saw you had popped it on the other night, and I was kind of jealous. And maybe we'll get a couple nights in here before Starfield hits of some Age of Empires 4.
It's so good already, man. I forgot that I had been dabbling in that, and it was more, I just wanted to see kind of comparisons quickly, like in the opening campaign stuff to Age 2, and there's some differences there, and it's really cool stuff. It seems like even more in depth and stuff. Like it's gonna be a fun experience. But even that right now, even that, as much as I've been anticipating that game, like the time that it released is like the worst time for me, probably.
Absolutely, bro. Again, that's going to be the story for a lot of these games coming out. The only reason why I picked up Armored Core 6 is because I do want to get in some gameplay with Steel. I did get it on CD Key still today, this morning, for $47. So I was like, okay. But again, I wish that game was coming out at any other time than right now. Like, I know Steel's going to be playing a ton of it.
Yeah.
He's going to be popping into Starfield. He's getting really excited for Starfield. Like really behind the scenes in the DMs, like the more news comes out about Starfield, he watched the leak gameplay. I'll give you guys, when we talk about Starfield, I'll give you some general impressions about the leak. I'm not going to get into spoilers. I'm not going to tell you guys anything. I respect anybody who does not want to hear this stuff, but I did watch the full 45 minutes that guy leaked. Supposedly he is now banned, by the way. Supposedly his gamer tag and his console has been banned because he was dumb enough to fire it up with his gamer tag on the screen. Like I did see that in the video and I was like, yo, I hope that's not your real gamer tag, and he seems like a super chill, cool dude because he put out a video afterwards. I don't know if you all saw that, him sitting on his porch, smoking a blunt, just like, hey, no offense, Todd, but this is a great game. This is a great game. Like he was a total nice guy, but you got to know, man, if you're going to put yourself out there on this kind of release and you're gonna have your gamer tag on the screen, they're coming for you. So anyway, so I'll get into that. But yeah, that's Humankind. I did play Humankind for like probably like an hour and a half. If you are into 4X strategy, if you love Civ, try out Humankind. They set it up a little bit differently than Civ to kind of make it unique, but overall it's just Civ. I mean, that's really what I've seen so far from it. There's different ways to elevate your civilization and stuff. They make that the goals a little bit different than Civ. But really so far on controller on the Xbox plays well. Good looking game as far as 4X strategy goes. And the way that they've got the controls set up, not too bad. Definitely different than Civ, but every strategy game's like that. It takes a minute to kind of get used to the controls. But so far enjoyed what I played. So definitely both of those are in Game Pass. Those were shadow drops again this week. So, I mean, we knew Humankind was coming. We knew Age of Empires 4 was coming. But they both kind of shadow dropped this week, which was cool too. I know you guys
make the third first party shadow drop this year for Xbox.
Yes, which is insane to think about. We'll get into that, man, because that's kind of encompasses with it. Kind of encompasses. I mean, again, we talked about this. We knew Xbox was going big at Gamescom, right? So, kind of shows. And again. I think we were both right in our assessment of what we thought was going to happen at Gamescom. There wasn't going to be any like mic drop moment per se, but we did think there was going to be surprises. Lo and behold, there's been surprises.
Yeah, there has.
Yeah, that's been pretty much my week, man. Not much else. Like I said, just trying to get through till next Thursday night. We're going to go live for an hour next Thursday night, lead up to actual launch of Starfield. And then we're going to end the show and we're both going to go play Starfield. I think I am going to be streaming. I think Steele's getting stuff ready behind the scenes. I'm going to probably be streaming on Living Split Screen. I know you're going to be streaming here. It's going to be Starfield, folks. And we got a lot to talk about that tonight too. So
do you want to stay in a party while we stream and do co-stream stuff or are we going to just go our separate ways? It's up to you, man. We can talk about it behind the scenes and figure it out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it behind the scenes. Like this is very strange for me. Like,
you're not used to it, right?
I'm not used to like it's not going to be that big a deal because I've been podcasting so much now. So like watching the chat and interacting with chat, that's all great. That's why I want to do it. But it is going to be different. Like normally single player RPG, especially Bethesda games. Again, this is the first time I've had a community like this that is this passionate about video games. I've never shared that experience with another person. Like I'm a single player dude at heart, always have been through my entire time as a gamer. Played plenty of multiplayer stuff and obviously play more now with all of you. But the fact is, when it comes to single player RPGs, man, like I am focused in, locked in, like listening to the story, listening to NPCs, reading everything. Like this is going to be different for me. This is truly going to be different for me. So yeah, we'll have to talk behind the scenes to see how we want to do that. I don't know if Steele's planning on going live with Starfield at the same time too. I don't know if we're doing split screen. I don't know how we're going to work this out, but it's going to be fun no matter what, sharing this with everybody. That's for damn sure. Can't wait. So
2 hours of you and the character creator, probably.
It's going to be, I can get long in character creator, but I'm also not extreme, right?
Right.
Because I can get I can be very satisfied with what because I'm not trying to create myself and I'm not trying to create a specific person. And as you all know, again, if you give me character creator, 99% of the time, if you give me the option of male and female, I'm going to make a female character. So I'll be making a female character. She's going to be a female pirate. It just depends. It just depends, Mav. I can find a look I like really quick, or it can take me a little bit of time. I think more so traits and background is where I might get lost.
Yeah, because you like, for me, I second guess myself on a lot of that, because it's like, this is my first playthrough. This is the one I'm going to spend probably the most time with, and I don't want to make a mistake and regret it later. And you know me, I always
there's no respecting. Well, I mean, there's some respecting, but
I always regret my decisions on these things. So the traits are interesting, for me in this game.
Yeah, they are. I already know I'm going to take wanted, so I already have one of them locked in. I'm taking the wanted. Again, for anybody who doesn't know, wanted trait, you're already wanted out the gate without ever committing a crime. And bounty hunters will show up randomly wherever you are and attack you. Now, for me, I look at that as there's no downside. Plus the positive. Okay, so that's the negative, that bounty hunters can attack at any time. The positive, I believe, is if you drop below 50% health, you do increased damage, or maybe you do increased damage all the time. I can't remember which one it is. Doesn't matter to me. I look at that as a positive all the way around, because the more bounty hunters that show up, the more experience I'm gaining. I also have the opportunity to take more ships, take their ships. All of that sounds good to me. Even at low level, I don't care. Show up, bounty hunters, come try to get me. I'm cool with that. So I'm definitely taking wanted. That's one for sure. But the other ones, Mav, I got to really think about, man. I got to think about big time. So that might be where I get stuck next week on Thursday night. So, but I've got Thursday night till Wednesday morning before I got to go back to work on Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some game time in. That's for sure. I got some shows in there too.
Heck yeah, man.
Heck yeah. Let me get to the chat here real quick. We've already got over 125 people watching us. Hit that like button, please, if you can. Take the extra second or two. If you got an extra minute or two, share us out to your favorite social media platforms, please. It helps us grow immensely. You know what you're going to get here on Thursday nights with PM in the PM. PCMR in the PM, kind of at this point, Mav. So Poison Maniac's not wrong for saying that all the time. Because Starfield, I'm going to play it on Xbox, but definitely starting on PC for sure. It's going to be interesting. Listen up, everybody. Let's talk about this. We got in the chat, we got Talos Re, we got Game Shark in here, we got It's Timmy, we got the beautiful Miss Caitlin in here. Amazing work as always on the thumbs. Appreciate you sharing us out, Caitlin. You are the 60% owner of the Fun Speculation Network, where Mav's 40%. Thank you. Thank you, Caitlin. Appreciate you so much. The aforementioned Poison Maniac is in here, of course. We got the one, the only actually guy, lore master, Jasper. Hey, Jasper, I didn't hit you up in the DMs, but shout out to your little breakdown of Modern Warfare 3 and some Starfield stuff. I did watch that while I was at work. Nice job, brother. And I'll thank you again live, even though I did thank you in the DMs, for the link to that leaked Starfield footage before they took it down. Appreciate you, brother. The Hooded Canuck is in here. Red Monkey Butt is up in here. What's going on, Red Monkey Butt? We got the man, the myth, the legend, Spider-Man 356 hanging out. We got Nicholas Lund in the house. What's going on, Nicholas? We got the one and only Polly Baba joining us. What's going on, Polly? Always great to see you as well. We got, who else we got in here? We got Why So Serious in the house. We got the blue one, the fraud, as PT Gay Blam likes to say. The blue one, what's going on, brother? Great to have you in here. Wilfrey Rosario, I see you jumping in here. Monster 530, what's going on, Monster? Who else we got in? We got Truth Serum in the house. What's going on, Truth Serum? We got Masshole 1977. I wish I took off the entire month of September, Masshole. I wish I had that ability. I wish I was getting ready to retire. I'd probably retire early just to play Starfield, but I'm not even close. God Emperor Sofa King in here. What's going on, God Emperor? Who else we got in here? We got Sin in the house. What's going on, Sin? Great to see you as always. We got Calorie. What's going on, Calorie? Great to have you dropping on in, sir. Appreciate you. We got RWK88 in here. What's going on, RWK? We got Alvin, and Alvin dropped us a $5 super chat. Said the craziest thing about the Starfield hype cycle is that Forza, Towerborn, Space Marine, AC6, Stalker, and more are also getting rave previews. Help. I feel you, Alvin. I feel you. We got so much coming. We're going to talk about it. Whoo-wee. 2023 going down as one of the greatest all time, and 2024 lining up as the next big one. It's going to be nuts. Blaz Reed Jenkins in here. What's going on, Blaz? Great to see you as always, or Blaze, I should say. I always call you Blaz just because I like it. But Blaze it is. Ghost Fixter in the house. What's going on, Ghost Fixter? Cyber Gunter 81. Brother, great to have you a part of the show. We got Base Digi in the house. What's going on, Base? Great to have you in here. We got John 907I in the house. What's going on, John? We got Mitchy Dies a lot. Great to see you, my friend. Thank you for dropping in here as always. Who else? Who else am I got in here? We got J Mo Money in the house. What's going on, J Mo Money? Great to have you dropping in saying hi. Appreciate you. We got the Void Rat dropping in with the hi, y'all. Great to see you, Void Rat. We got Andrew Cullinane in the house. What's going on, Andrew? Not a show without you jumping in here. We got RSJ Fan. What's going on, my friend? Great to see you in here as always. OCDgamer is in here. What's going on, OCD? We got the Black Card Day in here. And my check cut off for some reason. That's as far as I can go to the top. Let's see who dropped in the bottom, because I know you always do this to me. Chat, I love you all for doing this. Silent Cypher's in the house. What's going on, Brian? Great to have you, brother. Most consistent Xbox click. Vic, just please go back to Vic to click, please. Most consistent Xbox click in here. Anyways, good to see you, Vic. And I saw your little party time post earlier too. So it looked like you were having a good time. Andrew Reeves is in the house. We got the Black John in here. What's going on? We got Raid Zafar in the house. We got Scorpio in here. We got Kevin Baldwin. We got the one and only Jason Max. We got Spartan 661. We got the Phantom Kraken from We Bleed Green, Joey in the house. Brother, what's been going on with you? I've been seeing your posts out there, keeping those ponies locked up right where they belong. Jay Rembert, what's going on? TTS, talk that shit. That's right. What's going on, Jay? We got Amit Kumar in here. We got Big Mad Mo in the house. What's going on, Big Mad? We got Nicholas. Oh, I already said Nicholas one, but you got a second one there, Nicholas. We got Squiggles 420. What's going on, Squiggles? We got Donnie Skills in the house. We got Il Ray Tito up in here. We got the one, the only East Side Vandal. What's going on, East Side? We got FARK in the house. What's going on, FARK? I think I have covered everybody. Yep. I think I've got everybody that I can possibly see. Oh no, we got Web Dave in the house. I can't forget Web Dave. We got Rip Snorta in the house. What's going on, Rip Snorta? I think that is everybody that I can see. Listen, if you're back there just lurking, if you're just hanging out, if I did miss you by any chance, you know I love you. You know Mav loves you. Nothing but respect, coming out, hanging out with me and him. We got a lot to get into, man. I don't even know where to start. So let's get this out of the way. I haven't had a chance to talk about it. It happened at the beginning of the week. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here. I know you went live at 2 o'clock in the morning with this stuff, our time. The ABK stuff, the CMA. CMA earlier this week put a official, and Mav, you covered this, so tell me if I'm getting anything wrong, because this was early in the week.
Yeah,
I'm doing this off memory. So it came out actually from Microsoft. Brad Smith came out and made a post saying that they had resubmitted a new deal to the CMA. In this new deal, they were divesting themselves of the cloud streaming part of any Activision Blizzard King games across the entire globe, besides the deals that they did in the EU, which was a little side note. They made special arrangements for the deals they already cut with NVIDIA, Boosteroid, all those that we already heard about. But they divested themselves of all cloud streaming for all future ABK games, current and future ABK games for the next 15 years. And they gave those rights, or not gave, but sold those rights to none other than Ubisoft. Ubisoft, out of nowhere.
Out of left field, bro. Yeah.
Bro, left field, coming in as the partner. Then we got, after Brad Smith made his announcement of this new deal, then we got the CMA that came out. and they made a post as well, Matt, and they formalized their block, which was on the original decision. So they did not wait for the appeals process to go through or wait to see if Microsoft was going to push the appeals process with CAT. They came out and said, in light of this new deal, we are formalizing our block on the original deal, and we will begin reviewing the new deal in earnest with the deadline of October 18th in mind. Did I miss anything, sir?
No, the on October 18th correlates with the deadline for ABK's extension. The new deadline,
yes.
For when they need to close by without having to get another extension from ABK, right? Correct. So that's why where the October 18th thing comes in. Initial thoughts and reactions is just annoyance at the CMA for not just going out and reviewing their original decision with this new information and making it a faster, more seamless process. And that's the annoying thing, because ultimately this doesn't really help anybody. It doesn't really hurt anybody. It's more or less just a time waster and a puffing out the chest moment for the CMA. More or less, the Ubisoft thing was out of left field, and that was the biggest surprise for me. Now, the other things, like if you read the official post from the CMA on uk.gov, there is information basically that I broke down on the stream in my 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. stream that night, that they are going, because there's a lot of overlap with the original findings,
correct,
and this new proposal. They don't have to do as an extensive of research. Basically, most of the phase 2 was even done, so there's not even really a reason to go into phase 2, because they saying that the overlap, they can use all of that information in their all of their original findings, right, with this new decision, because of the amount of overlap. So really what they're going to be doing here is weighing the effects of the Ubisoft deal and probably looking at the contracts of that and all that kind of stuff. Which also, like, when you think about it, one of the big deals about this was they're formalizing the block, right, of the original proposal, right? Which is annoying, because they could have potentially, like what the CAT judge was even trying to get them to do, it sounded like, was recognize that there's enough that had changed to allow them to go back and just change their decision without having to do a whole new proposal, right? That's what Microsoft was hoping for. CMA wasn't going for it. They're having to do a whole new proposal, which is the annoying thing. However, it does seem like this was a plan that Microsoft and the CMA had negotiated to some effect, with this rare circumstance type of situation that they have both talked about within CAT and the CMA, that this new this situation is very rare and doesn't really ever happen, right? So the sense that they went ahead 7 days, because if they did just want to keep prolonging things as long as possible, they could have waited 7 more days to officially block, right? The first proposal, right? So that, and then also if you take into account that they made the deadline October 18th, also correlates to the ABK deadline for the extension of their beforehand. Their deadlines didn't necessarily match the ABK deadlines, right? That was just whatever the CMA said, right? So this is, you can tell it was kind of taken into effect within making sure this deal goes through in mind, right? Whereas they actually went ahead and formalized the block 7 days early to close the chapter on that deal, to go ahead and start full force into this new proposal agreement, which I expect to go through in the coming weeks, right? Most people are saying into September, most likely, well before the October 18th deadline. It seems that's what Microsoft expects as well, with comments from Brad Smith and Phil Spencer and all of that kind of stuff. So ultimately, a bunch of hullabaloo, where the main thing where there is some kind of effect is the cloud streaming rights. And then to that extent, Michael Pachter had a great breakdown on this aspect as well. And he was expressing some frustrations with the CMA's just like waste of everybody's time here as well. But basically, like, Ubisoft can just license those rights back to Microsoft for xCloud,
which is already part of the agreement.
Which is probably which is probably already part of the agreement, right? So this doesn't even mean that xCloud or Game Pass users won't be able to stream ABK games. It just means that other places will also potentially be able to, if there's not exclusive rights purchased. And in certain regions, as part of this deal, certain regions in the world can get exclusivity for ABK cloud streaming. Some can't. Some nuances with that, but they can be on the Xbox Game Pass for the cloud streaming. And this in no way affects the ability for those games to be in Game Pass or on Xbox, right? So just about the cloud, and basically Ubisoft is the big winner here. They are having to pay Microsoft for this, but for them to have if cloud streaming does grow significantly over the next 10 to 15 years or whatever, for them to have the rights to be able to license that to different cloud streaming platforms, that's a good thing for Ubisoft. So they potentially got a winning deal here. I also did have some speculation about why Ubisoft as well with this, because one of the things we expected originally when Microsoft was going around doing all these third-party deals, right, was the home run would have been Amazon Luna, right? Because that's a major player in cloud. It's a major competitor. And if they would have done a 10-year deal with Amazon, that would have maybe made some strides with the regulators and all that stuff. But we didn't see the Amazon deal. We saw Ubisoft, we saw Boosteroid, we saw NVIDIA, and all these other things, right? And NVIDIA is a major player too.
Yes,
but
correct.
Going to Ubisoft allows those games through Ubisoft, because Ubisoft is already part of Luna, and they already have announced Luna as part of their announcement when Ubisoft made an announcement as well, right? Immediately following. And Amazon Luna was mentioned there. So this puts those games within reach, or what Ubisoft said they will be on Luna, without Microsoft having to do a direct deal with Amazon.
Sure.
So if Amazon didn't want to do a deal, or if Microsoft didn't want to do a deal with Amazon or whatever, this in a roundabout way includes that, which if you're the CMA, you're the FTC, you're any regulator in the world, you have the biggest competitors to cloud getting access to these games. You have non-exclusivity. You have Ubisoft having control of where they go, all these different things. There is literally no way that they can balk at this now, and it has completely answered every single question. So for me, the Ubisoft thing, because of the relationship with Amazon, may have been a potential reason why Ubisoft was the partner here. Just a thought. Don't know.
Yep. It's a good thought. It's a good thought. I haven't talked about this at all. Like I said, I'm not gonna go long here, because it's just a part of the process.
Yeah.
First of all, it's complete bullshit. Okay, that the CMA can control the world. This is big government. I've spoken out about it. Again, that goes in a whole nother can of worms and a whole different show than video games. But this is big government. I hate all this. This is garbage. I wish Microsoft would have fought this. I wish they would have pulled out the big guns and gone through with their threat to start pulling out of the UK and see the CMA back down. I also said on the show that I believed at the end of the day that they were working behind the scenes to find a win-win for everybody here, including the CMA. They did not, or were not going to do anything at the end of the day that was going to make the CMA look weak in any way, shape, or form. So they had to find an out for everybody. Again, I wish that Microsoft would have put the hammer down on the CMA, because the CMA has no right to control the rest of the world. Again, this is a problem right now that we're getting closer and closer to a one world government. And I hate every bit of it right now. But this shows you, this is video games we're talking about. This shows you where the power is starting to lie, right? That one country's regulatory body can control things for the rest of the world. I hate it. I understand. I said from the beginning that there was no way Microsoft Satya was going to allow this deal to die at this point. There was no way in hell. One way or the other, scorched earth or something like this was going to happen. And they chose this route. And there's more, in my opinion, behind it, Mav, than just a CMA, because a lot of people were shocked that this was worldwide cloud.
Right. Yeah.
This makes sense because they are preemptively striking against the FTC if the FTC decides to move forward, right? They are pulling out one of the major arguments, which the FTC and the CMA were aligned here. We know that this was an illegal deal between the FTC and the CMA, but nobody's going to do anything about it. So whatever. They colluded this entire process. But what Microsoft is doing here and saying, okay, fine. If we're going to give up something for the CMA, then we might as well just give up something that we really don't overall care about right now, that we don't think the cloud is going to be a big enough percentage of anything in the near future, meaning 15 years, obviously, in their eyes. We are willing to give all this up. And what that does is pull the rug from underneath the FTC's arguments as well. If they decide to take it to the federal courts, where they'll lose anyways. But Microsoft is creating even a less of an argument. So
they checked all the boxes. PlayStation deal, you know, the cloud streaming can no longer be argued. All these things are just check. And those are the only arguments.
Yep. Right? Those are the only arguments, because the console shit is nonsense. And we know it's nonsense. And no court over here is going to look at the numbers in the console market and say, yeah, you guys can't do this. You're going to have too much power. It's not going to happen. Everywhere else in the world, they are looked at them and said, what? There's no problem here. So they did what they needed to do. I'm happy. Does it extend everything? Does it mean that we have to wait longer for this deal to close? Absolutely it does. Could the CMA drag this out until the bitter end, until October 18th? Sure, they could. But right now, Microsoft has given them an easy win, has given them an easy out. The CAT and the UK government are looking at the CMA sideways already. I don't believe they'll do that. I believe that they will speed this process up because, like you said, Mav, they already came out and admitted they don't have to go back through all the original stuff. Yeah. All that stuff's been looked at. All of it's been covered. All the decisions made on all of the nonsense. It's just this portion here. Interestingly enough, Microsoft did open up themselves to the EU relooking at the deal because this is a new deal. Now, do I think the EU is going to do any nonsense? No, I don't think they are, because at the end of the day, this is a win. This goes up and beyond what even the EU required of Microsoft to get the deal pushed through for the first time. EU has to come out as a government body and say, well, we might have to look at this because it's a brand new deal, because technically it is a brand new deal. But the facts are the EU, there's no reason for them to go back on what they've already decided upon. This only enhances, you know, everything that that Microsoft had already agreed to with the EU. So,
and that's why they excluded the EU from this whole situation, right? So people were asking why not the EU? Because they excluded the EU's. Because of this reason, they already have concessions there that they've agreed to within the EU. And there's a third-party arbitrator already involved with making sure that Xbox follows through on all of these kind of things and stuff. So, if it did include the EU in the deal, that would be something they would probably, for sure, want to look at, right? But with them being excluded, it kind of allows them that out.
No, and Ubisoft out of left field was a stroke. If you're going to do this, a stroke of genius on my part to get Ubisoft on board, because it is a major third-party publisher who nobody can have any qualms about as far as looking at this and going, oh, what's Microsoft doing behind the scenes? No, they're giving it up. They didn't give it up to some small, you know, third-party publisher who may not be able to handle those rights, or some third-party publisher who might be going out of business soon, although Ubisoft might be, but whatever. The fact is that Ubisoft is respected and recognized as one of a major third-party publisher, one of the biggest in the world. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense. They're completely neutral. Yves and the Guillermo family are going to do what's best for their own pockets. They're not going to play to Microsoft's fiddle at all. So outside of the deals that have already been worked into this agreement to let Microsoft continue to stream these games for their, for Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, etc. Outside of that, they're going to cut their own deals with whoever wants them without any say from Microsoft. There's no government body that can say, oh no, Microsoft, they've got, favoritism from Ubisoft. That's not going to happen here. So it was a great partnership. I liked your idea also, Mav, with the whole Amazon Luna thing. It's a great point. And I think that you're probably onto something there. I don't think you're on something. I think you are onto something with that as well. So overall, if this is the way that they were going to go, if they weren't going to fight it, again, I think personally, in my eyes, it sets a bad precedent. It allows the CMA to control the entire world. I don't like that at all when it comes to business. Again, I hate it. I hate big business. I hate regulatory bodies. I hate all this nonsense. But at the end of the day, if this is the way Microsoft felt that they needed to push it through, that this was the path of least resistance for them, and it also helps them out over here. If the FTC tries any nonsense, then so be it. I think this is the best you're going to get. Again, cloud streaming to me is whatever, as long as you kept the rights to offer to your consumers, as you have already stated as a part of your subscription service, then whatever, then nothing changes here. Personally. So in 15 years from now, who knows what's going to happen? I'm sure there's clauses in there. If Ubisoft does get bought out by, let's say, a Tencent or a PlayStation or whoever, then the rights will revert back to Microsoft. That's usually in these types of contracts. So there's still a play that maybe this doesn't even go out 15 years, right? For the people out there who have said, oh, now Microsoft just buys Ubisoft. No, this probably says Microsoft has zero interest in Ubisoft. This probably closes the door on it, because if they did that, these same regulatory bodies would be like, no, you're not going to go ahead. You better find a new partner to divest yourself, because you're not getting Ubisoft with those rights back. So, but at the end of the day, this is part of the plan. Again, it sucks. I wanted to see them put the pressure to CMA. I wanted to see the cat come down on the CMA. I wanted to see the cat come back and say, no, relook at your original decision. You were wrong here. A lot has changed. You need to rethink this and bring back your argument again if you're actually going to try to push this through. I wanted to see that whole thing play out, especially underneath the deadlines that they gave themselves, which was the end of this month. But obviously behind the scenes, like you said, Mav, there was conversations happening. There's stuff going on. You don't just whip up a deal with Ubisoft overnight. Okay, this was something from the beginning they obviously had in the works. This was probably a plan B or plan C, and they had it ready. So,
which remember Phil mentioned at some point they had a plan B, C, D, and E, and all that.
They have to with a deal this big. Yeah, you have to. And like I said, they were too close to the finish line to let this die. They were never going to let that happen. They just chose not to go scorched earth. I wanted scorched earth. They chose not to. Okay, whatever. Again, as a gamer, as an Xbox ecosystem heavy gamer, don't care. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. So more power to them. Again, just proves to all the people out there who were trying to say this was all about cloud, trying to say Microsoft was trying to monopolize everything, and this wasn't about mobile. They were lying. Okay, I guess your narrative is now gone, because Microsoft just gave up the whole cloud segment worldwide. So now what do you got to say? No, they're not trying to monopolize it. No, cloud is not a priority to them. It is what it is. They gave it all up. So we move on. Hopefully we get that decision sooner than later. I would like to see this done in September. That's where we're at. So that was earlier this week, surprisingly enough. Again, crazy. Like you said, Mav, you even forgot that kind of happened earlier this week, because we've had
there's so much other news like that. And ultimately it's like a couple weeks extension to get it done, and Hopefully. I don't really care,
Nope, so. I don't. If they try some more nonsense, I'll be back here to talk about it. The CMA tries to pull some BS, the EU tries to pull some BS. If the FTC starts their BS, we'll be back here to talk about it again. But at this point, it's just a matter of time now. Again, the ABK deal is going to be done. Microsoft will own them, and everybody's going to be happy. Stocks were up all the way around for everybody. Ubisoft, Microsoft, and Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard is actually like $91 after that was announced. So everybody knows this is just, there's no way the CMA can come back and go, okay, well, that's great, but there's no but here. They gave up everything that they said was a problem. So, all right, Matt. So we got the junk out of the way. We had to cover it again. Not something necessarily, earth shattering here, but it was a big moment. Like I said, Ubisoft out of left field was interesting, but it does make a lot of sense out of all the places they could have gone. Let's get into some fun stuff, Matt, because this week has been nothing but absolute ridiculous fun. I don't know where you want to start, brother. Do you just want to jump into Starfield again? Do you want to jump into some smaller announcements we've gotten this week? Because we've gotten a ton of game announcements this week, like craziness. Like, where do you want to start? Do you want to start big? Do you want to start with Starfield? Do you want to start with the interviews? Do you want to start with Baldur's Gate 3? We could certainly jump into that.
Let's start with that, and then we'll go into this, and then let's go into the Starfield Q A, because the Starfield Q A I think is amazing, but the Baldur's Gate 3 news I think is very significant.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Let me see here, Mav. Let me see, because I pulled up this IGN article. Let me see if I can get let me see if this one includes the talk that Phil did, because he did an interview with Destin, which was wide-ranging topics. Destin came with some very hard questions. Wasn't softballing Phil at all.
Great interview.
Great interview, legitimate. Shout out to Destin again. Think what you want to think about IGN. You know how we feel about IGN here on Fun Speculation Network. Destin's one of the good ones, I would say, over there. Do I agree with everything Destin says and does? No, I don't. But do I think that he is one of the better ones? Absolutely. And this interview showed that, I thought, really, really well. Let me see here. Let me scroll down. I think this is, are we getting into this? Yeah, here we go. Okay. So, Destin said, and this is going to be specifically like we just talked about, we're going to start with the Baldur's Gate stuff. So this interview happened, and then we had the breaking news today. So let's start here with the interview. So Destin kind of was asking Phil about the Series S and stuff. And then he came directly to Baldur's Gate 3 and Larian. He said the Baldur's Gate 3 team brought up some issues with the Xbox Series S in split screen, getting it to work properly. I know the Forza team announced that it won't launch with local split screen. Is there some future where you allow developers just to launch on the Series X versus the S, because there's a parity clause right now? And I'm curious, will that ever be loosened up a bit? Phil responded, I wanted to couple these issues a little bit. The decision to do split screen or not is a creative decision, a dev decision. So if we think about Forza, it has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on the S and X, just where they wanted to focus their time. We obviously see the data in terms of how many people play local co-op for games. I love local co-op. Shout out to Vampire Survivors that just launched it. Fantastic. But there's also just a let's go where the play is in terms of where we're going to focus our dev resources. In terms of the two platforms, I want games to launch on both platforms. There are feature differences between the platforms. We have the ability to kind of handle that and how it works. Where teams are going to choose to focus their time and effort is up to them. We're here to support them and what they want to go on to do. We're going to make sure that the games, when they're launching on competitive platforms, are also launching on Xbox. That should have been hint number one. So we're going to learn from this experience as well, because we don't love that. But I don't think it's something that's a fatal flaw in the system. It's partners prioritizing their time, us listening and being a good partner to them. And you see some amazing games doing great work across S and X. Diablo looks great. And Starfield looks great. Forza looks great across both. And I want to make sure console gaming is accessible to more people. And we think the price point of the console is a pretty important part of that. And Destin goes, yeah, I love the Series S, but there's been that conversation going around, so I wanted to ask you about it. Phil said, yeah, no, I think it's a fair question. I will say, I think some of the discussion in the community has maybe not come from us or the devs. It's been more the community building. Well, this happened, and then that happened, and then so it must be about this. And I think we can do more to add clarity to actually where we are, and I look forward to doing that. Destin goes, so you threw like 300 devs out to Larian to help them get Baldur's Gate's game on Xbox. And he chuckled. He was making a joke here. Phil said, it wasn't 300, but absolutely no, it's a great game. They're an important partner. I'm meeting with them here at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Again, folks, now, again, some people have kind of combine these two timelines together. This was Destin's interview prior to him meeting with Larian, but he said right here, I'm going to meet with Larian here at Gamescom. It's a game I want to see on the platform, and we have resources that help in terms of making sure it's going to, I think they've said it's going to ship by the end of the year. Again, this was prior to his meeting. I think that's their word. I think that's their words in terms of what they've said, but we should together come up with clarity to set some expectations for Xbox fans. And I look forward to doing that. All right. Perfect that we had this, because this kind of set up everything. Then today, Mav, right? So we get that portion of that interview kind of lit up some people. Some people were talking about more than just that part, but obviously that was a big discussion. It's been a big discussion because Baldur's Gate 3 is now in the Game of the Year conversation. A lot of people now think that it's the favorite to win Game of the Year. Obviously, 96, I think it did drop down one, but for the longest time, it was sitting at the highest. It's been highest out of any game this year. And it was actually beating out Tears of the Kingdom. And then today, Matt, we got Larian devs, part of the team coming out, the higher ups coming out and announcing, and this is from Sven Vinke, said, super happy to confirm that after meeting Xbox P3, Phil, of course, they use his Twitter handle, yesterday, we found a solution that allows us to bring Baldur's Gate 3 to Xbox players this year still, something we've been working towards for quite some time. Goes on to say, all improvements will be there with split screen co-op on Series X. Series S will not feature split screen co-op, but will also include cross-save progression between Steam and Xbox Series consoles. Thank you. That's going to be freaking amazing, like you said early, man.
Yeah.
Awesome news. This is a huge. We talked about it a little bit here, Mav. Colt, while you were on with Games Talk Live with Fonz, of course, great episode a couple of weeks ago. You were on there with Colt. Colt came out very strongly and said this was a huge L for Xbox not having one of the best games of the year, a game of the year contender showing up on their platform at the same time as PlayStation, a big time L for them. Of course, this was before this kind of all came about, and we were thinking that it was going to be 2024. I said, hey, you know what? Xbox side of things, it is a big L not to have one of the best games this year. But at the same time, you know, Starfield, Forza, lots of big games going to be out this year. Is it the worst thing ever in 2024? No. But you and I, Mav, I think directly on PM and the PM here, and maybe elsewhere too, we had conversations. We said if it was up to us, we would rather than see them drop the parity clause. We'd rather see them drop the co-op experience for the Series S, take that hit, because it is a hit. Make no doubt about it. Now, how big a hit, that's up to you, everybody to decide on their own. But we said, take that hit, that PR hit, that, hey, the Series S isn't doing what it's supposed to do and you don't get co-op over there, but get this game out this year. Right, split screen. Yeah, split screen co-op. Sorry. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I apologize. Split screen. Yeah, split screen co-op. Drop the split screen co-op, get the game out on Xbox this year. If you guys continue to work on split screen co-op for the Series S in the background and that comes out later, great. But just get it out this year because it is one of the biggest games. It's one of the most talked about games so far this year. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. Obviously, Phil was of the same mindset, met with Larian. Obviously, he already had a feeling how this was going to go, because he thought that they had already come out and said it was coming out this year. They never did that. I went back through their stuff. They never said this year.
They actually had said early next year, maybe.
Early next year was what was insinuated heavily. So he already had in his mind what was happening at this meeting. Went there, got it done. A meeting of the minds, made it happen. If they bent the knee, if they broke the rules, if they made an exception, whatever they did here, they got it done to make sure that Xbox isn't missing out on one of the biggest games of the year. Your thoughts, Mav, now that Baldur's Gate 3 is confirmed to be coming out for Xbox Series consoles this year, obviously, again, minus the split screen co-op for the Series S. Series X will still have it, but the Series S not getting that feature. But at the end of the day, one of the games of the year potentials coming out this year. I think it's great. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, it's fantastic. This was after, you know, I had made the argument originally, like, Larian could have just like released an update for all of that later or whatever, because it's not a heavily used feature, right? Especially being a PC first game. But once that decision was made that it's crucial for them and they have that, then the only other solution would be for Xbox to either one, get the teams in there to get it done, because Larian never said it's impossible. They just said that it would take longer and they're working on it, right? So, but you can't have like this optics like for Xbox to have a game of the year candidate, which this will be one of the games nominated for game of the year. Again, this is the highest rated PC game on Open Critic history right now. Like, this game is massive. It broke Steam records this year for concurrent players. Like, this is a monster success for Larian. And it's also a genre and a type of franchise like that Xbox is usually more of a home for, right? As opposed to other console platforms. Like, so with all of those things in mind, it's a game, and Phil's a huge fan of these kind of games also, right? Like,
yes.
Like this had to have been burning for them internally, just like not to.
You could see it was annoying to him during the interview.
Like, not to have this game on Xbox this year. So it took them to go and do whatever they needed to do. I don't know what it was, to make sure this got done. So when it'll hit this year, I don't know. Is split screen co-op on the Series S a big deal? There's probably a handful of people that it is too. I will say, optically, just the perception of it is a much bigger deal than the actual effect of people that it would have an effect on. If people didn't even know this game had split screen because of this whole fiasco, people don't even know, right? That this game has a split screen mode, because it's just not typically a kind of game you'd play that mode on, right? So it's like, it is what it is. Now, I also look to Phil's comments about like the Forza thing, because like the whole Series S thing got coupled with this, right? And the kind of people putting 2 and 2 together, all these kind of things. And we make jokes about Series S now and split screen all the time, just because it's funny, because it's like, because the Series S, can't do split screen or whatever. And obviously it can. It has it in several different games, right? But him making that comment about, we kind of chose to put our resources where players play, right? Kind of lets you know about the effect of how many people play those modes these days on those kind of games. Like Forza Motorsport, we had Fuzzy, who is the Forza and GT guy, right? Come out and say like split screen has been trash. It's like, he's glad it's gone from Forza. He doesn't care if it ever comes back. He tried playing it before. It was pointless, worthless, right? And I'm not saying that's the same on Baldur's Gate, but like, just the amount of people that are going to play it split screen is just probably very minimal. So to the effect of it, who cares? Like, handful of people, if you're one of them that was planning on playing split screen and you have a Series S and you don't have a PC or any other way of playing it, that sucks. But I'm sorry for the 5 people that, that may affect. Everybody else, is a huge win. This is a massive win, because this is one of the best games of the year. Now, officially, according to Larian, hitting this year on the Xbox. No longer this perceived time exclusive on PlayStation. No longer this PlayStation can do it, Xbox can, all these kind of things, right? It is coming with full cross-save, cross-progression, not only between Xbox Series S and X, but also PC and Steam, which is amazing for me, because I can continue my campaign that I just told you guys I have 40-something plus hours, but probably closer to 50 at this point. I can continue that campaign now on Xbox when the game hits Xbox later this year. So it is absolutely perfect. Now, the question is, when does it hit? I don't know. Maybe November, maybe December, maybe October. At this point, I don't care, right? It's but this year, huge win. 2023 for Xbox fans just got a lot better as well. And I don't sleep on this game. If you're an Xbox player or a PlayStation player or whatever, and you're looking for a great experience, especially on Xbox, where you didn't know when you're going to get this, now you got confirmation 2023, talking about another Game of the Year candidate hitting on the platform in one of the best years ever in gaming history, arguably the best. It just got better for Xbox fans. So this is actually a huge deal, and everybody should be excited. I can't recommend the game enough. If Starfield wasn't a thing this year, there would be no questions asked. Like, this would be my game of the year. And I would honestly go in to say it would be my game of the generation so far. Baldur's Gate 3 would be my game of the generation so far. I love the genre. I love this game that much. However, Starfield exists. And there is there's no way in hell with how I'm feeling with the lead up to Starfield that Starfield won't replace it. Right? So like Starfield is that game of the generation. It's going to be that everything we're hearing, everything we're seeing, everything we're going to get into soon will hopefully show you guys why and make a case for that if you aren't excited for it. But I have a feeling that all 237 of you in the chat are pretty damn hyped for Starfield. And this is to have Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3 on the same platform in the same year is crazy. Not only like RPG glory, guys, like this is insane. Plus Forza Motorsport. Like, when does this stop, bro? When does it stop? It's not going to stop on Xbox, bro. Xbox, it's not going to stop. Even when there's a situation like this that comes up with the game, they're like, well, we can't really. They go out of their way to make sure it happens. They're going to do special circumstances or whatever resources they need to do to make sure that this Game of the Year candidate comes out this year on Xbox. It does not stop. This is insane. 2023 is fucking nuts, bro. And it's going to continue next year. Like, holy shit. Golden Age of Gaming, Pong Soul has always been right about this. We were a year behind. We thought it was going to start in 2022, but 2023 is absolutely bananas. And to get another game like Baldur's Gate 3 on the Xbox ecosystem is crazy for 2023. Holy shit. Everybody should be super happy about this. And like, you're just never going to run out of stuff to play. Like, 46 hours I put it into Act 1. Act 1.
Yep.
Insane. I can't, dude. I can't wait. When I want to take a break from Starfield on Xbox, I'll go play Baldur's Gate. Play it. Cross-save, cross-progression on PC. I'll play it on PC. You know, whatever. Amazing. Like, I'm super happy. Anyway. You feeling any kind of way about it besides?
Absolutely. No. I mean, I think, again, it's everything we talked about. You guys all heard us. If you've been joining us on PM to PM, you all heard us, our praise for Baldur's Gate 3. And again, there are people out there, Mav, too, that we got to think about that maybe aren't excited for Starfield. There are people who are not Bethesda fans, right? But are still classic RPG fans, right? And they, you know, if they predominantly played on Xbox, there was a potential that they could miss out on the biggest one to launch as far as a classic CRPG style RPG, Dragon Age, old Knights of the Old, whatever you want to relate it to. The original Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, etc. There are people who were looking forward to this game that potentially were not going to have that big RPG because they just weren't interested in Starfield. I know that's shocking, but there are people out there like that. Now they've got the opportunity to play that game this year on their favorite platform in Xbox. Again, we've always talked about this, map. The thing is if you want what Xbox has tried to do, what they've done a fantastic job of, you can have criticism for the way they've handled first party. You can have a bunch of criticisms for Xbox. You've certainly heard some from me and Mav as the years have gone by. But the one thing that I've always said is if you want diverse lineups of games, Xbox is doing that in spades. Outside of PC, if you're just looking at the console space, I believe Xbox has the biggest, most diverse lineup of games anywhere to be found. And that's first party, third party on down the road. And let me tell you something, missing out on this game would have been a hit, right? Especially this year. One of the games of the year, not getting on your platform. But what did Phil do? Phil said, not going to happen on my watch. Let's get this thing done. You can say all you want. Well, maybe they should have done this earlier. Maybe it should have been done earlier so it could launch at the same time as PlayStation. But let's be real too. Maybe Larian didn't want it to launch in September, right? There's been talk about that. Like, hey, do you really want to launch even a game as big as Baldur's Gate 3 on the same day as Starfield? Do you really want to do that over on Xbox? So maybe there was a little bit of that in the background too, talking about a different date, talking about, well, maybe if we got to keep working on this thing anyways, maybe that's not such a bad thing. But whatever happened, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Phil continues to put and get some of the biggest games in gaming on Xbox. And that's what he's doing all the time, is he is attempting to make sure that this diverse lineup continues, and having the biggest CRPG in potentially a decade or more come out this year. That's huge. That's a huge W for Xbox. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear what people think. Larian, again, if you haven't heard Mav and I talk about it, if you haven't played one of their previous games like Divinity Original Sin 2 on console with a controller, they are one of the best at adapting keyboard and mouse to controller. I expect nothing less from this game when it does drop in Xbox. So if you're sitting there going, yeah, I just don't know if I want to do it, it's on console, I don't know if I want to use my controller, trust me, give it a chance with Larian, because they are excellent at that. They are really good. It is intuitive on the controller. Their previous games were. So I have the utmost confidence that this one will also be. There's been people on PC who have played it with the controller that actually do say that it works very, very, very well. So don't be worried about that. If you've been waiting on Baldur's Gate 3, enjoy the hell out of it when it drops on Xbox. Like Mav said, I'll be jumping back into it at some point here. The fact that it's coming to Xbox, I may double dip, just because with the cross saves, that's huge for me. The fact that I can go sit on my couch if I don't want to be at the PC, and I can pick up my game where I left off in a game as big as Baldur's Gate 3, massive ability to do so, right? That's a massive feature that most people don't talk about, but in my case, it's something I'm going to use, just like Mav was saying. So excited for it, excited that it's going to be here for sure. Mav, let's stay on this Phil interview a little bit here, because Destin did a great job. There was a couple other things that popped up here that people have been talking about as well. There was actually a lot. I believe it was also in this interview. I can't find the question or where Phil started talking about, but you just brought it up, Mav. The amount of games coming from Xbox. This is the start, right?
Well, I made a post like earlier, a couple days ago, Pong, about the releases for 2023.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I did see that.
I have a list. If we can just go down this year.
Go ahead and go down this year.
We can talk about the future.
Yeah, and I wanted to wrap it up because Phil confirmed again, and I believe it was in this interview. I could have been in one of the other ones he did, because he did like 4 or 5 this week.
Yeah.
Where he confirmed that it's no longer just the plan to have one per quarter, that it is now the reality.
Right.
That's it. Like, it's set in stone. They are going to have at least one per quarter. So go ahead with your list.
Yeah, that's what their actual track is now for their release schedule, right? As opposed before, it was their aspiration to get to that point.
Their vision, their plan, their goal, whatever. Yep.
Yeah. So this is what we've been talking about for a couple years now. And they're getting there a year later than we thought, but it's here. And it's doubly good this year though, because of the year last year. But yeah, so this year for 2023. Now I included I included things in this that I feel like are somewhat significant. Now not everything here is massive, right? But they're either new games that came out, large updates, or brand new news, extra work they're putting in towards major first party titles or new releases and that kind of stuff. So for content, basically, what is the content that Xbox first party gamers are getting in 2023, right? So Hi-Fi Rush, Shadow Drop, came out in January. Ghostwire Tokyo came out this year, first party on Xbox. Redfall, the Quake 2 remaster that also had new content on it as well, was another Shadow Drop, right? Starfield, obviously, biggest game period this year probably. GoldenEye thing happened as well. Age 2 Definitive Edition on console happened this year. The Forza Horizon 5 got a big expansion with the rally that also they just announced 32 million players. So that was a significant expansion to that. Minecraft Legends launched this year as well. Age 4 on console, which is the third shadow drop this year. Didn't know when it was happening, knew what was supposed to happen at some point. Randomly dropped it at Gamescom, which we had predicted, however, but it happened. Forza Motorsport also. And then also the recent news that have a Series X and S official release for Killer Instinct with a Series X and S version coming out this year. And then shout out to Samurai Kibji, who added, the extra Halo content, which is significant that they've done, especially recently.
Yeah.
And we're getting another season 5 later this year. And then also the Sea of Thieves Monkey Island content as well, which is significant. That's new things, right? And it's a lot of them are updates, a lot of them are expansions, and then a lot of new games. Between this, just in new games, you have Forza Motorsport. You have Age 4's console release, which I count that because they had to do a whole lot of work to get that work. It's a different version of the game. Minecraft Legends, Age 2 Definitive Edition on console, GoldenEye, Starfield, Quake 2 Remaster, Redfall, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush.
Yep.
All first-party releases this year on Xbox. That is insane.
Massive. Yep.
If you just had Starfield and Forza, that is more than your competitors this year for sure.
Right.
It's just insane. It's nuts, bro.
It is. After last year, though, right? We kind of expected this, right?
Yep.
We thought that they needed to come back big in 2023. We knew that things were going to roll into this year. Obviously, we knew that's exactly what was happening. So they've done as expected. With a year like last year where they were pretty much non-existent from first party, they have made up for that and had their 2024 games in there, right? So now, as I talked about before, right, Mav, now we've got this year set up, like Phil said in the interview when it was brought up, he's like, well, this year actually we've got more than one per quarter, which technically speaking, they do, especially if you count Age Empires in there, especially if you count something like a Tokyo Ghostwire in there as well. They are more than one per quarter. But he said that it's like we said before, Mav, that next year it's going to be the same, that there is going to be one per quarter at least. That is now solid. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. It isn't just hopeful thinking or wishful thinking at this point. They have now set themselves up going forward. The roadmap is clear that they are going to do one per quarter, so we can expect this. We don't have to sit back and say, well, what do they got next year? Is next year going to be light? No more of that. The avalanche has begun.
Phil rambled off Hellblade 2 and Avowed and all this stuff with upcoming games soon. Yeah, absolutely.
He said more that we haven't talked about.
Yep. One that I thought about, they haven't talked about at all is Contraband.
Correct.
Interesting. Yeah. Right. And then we also just got news that Stalker 2 is first quarter of next year.
Yep.
Which is it's not first party, but it is a Game Pass day one console exclusive, for at least timed. So that's a very significant release as well for Xbox. Absolutely crazy. Because like I said, it's not going to stop. This is what we've been seeing for a long time.
Did you also have, Mav, in technically speaking, I guess we can count it, Warhammer Darktide is now announced for October.
Yeah, I didn't count it because it's not first party. I was only in that list focusing on first party. So.
First party, right? But I mean, again, another release that was supposed to happen last year didn't materialize. And again, you could say too little, too late. I'm not playing Warhammer Darktide. I understand. I'm going to try it out on console for sure. But the fact is, it's coming out in October. So it's another third party deal that got pushed that we are finally getting, again, just to add to the plethora, the cornucopia, as it would be, of games this year from Xbox or coming into Game Pass day and date. So just big, gigantic, again, the avalanche that we talked about for years is starting now, Mav.
Yeah.
And it's not going to end like we talked about. And this is without ABK becoming first party too.
Yeah.
So just
that's what we said. Like the competition's got like it's going to be hard to keep up. Like they can't. Yeah, they absolutely can't. And the value will speak for itself. A Game Pass about to blow up, bro. Like Silent Cypher hit us with a $5, Pong.
Shout out to Silent.
He said, I'm personally going to wait until 2024 to play Starfield. That main menu in the game has convinced me that it was rushed. Needs more updates.
Stop it. Bro. I was for a second I was waiting for some like massive point of why you were saying this, but you came with a joke. Okay. All right, yeah. Silent. Shout out to you. If anybody out there is holding off because of the menu, hey, okay, that's your personal decision. More power to you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Jax82 with the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Jax says, you got to get knocked down and get back up. Xbox has done that and more. Phil made no excuses about anything that's happened this year. He owned it. They made up for last year and got more on the way. Absolutely. Yeah. And then Lord Starkiller XSX01 with a 5. Appreciate you, Lord Starkiller. Says, ready for the Starfield early access. Starfield controller, Starfield headset. Pre-ordered the Starfield Series X wrap. Let's go.
Let's go.
You are ready.
You are 100% ready. Shout out to you. I got the controller. I don't have the other two, but I did get the controller a long time ago. So we are set. But yeah, excited. Shout out to Silent Cypher. Shout out to Jax82 and shout out to Lord Starkiller with the generous super chats. Appreciate you guys. My last thought was going to be 2, and now I just lost it with those great super chats because I had a last thought about what Phil was talking about here as far as the games and how they were going to start rolling out. There are more games to be announced. There are games that we are not aware of. You got to also remember that and again, we're not just talking first party here. We're talking third party. Even third party in 2022, it was good, but it seemed like ABK deal was holding them back. That is completely, again, that anchor that we talked about that slowed them down is completely thrown out. They cut it. They cut the anchor and it's full steam ahead. You've seen it with third party this year. You've seen it with first party this year. Now you got Phil working on Square Enix, right, to bring Final Fantasy games. Destin brought that up in this interview as well, Mav.
It's a big deal. It didn't get as much attention as it should have, probably just because of all the other stuff going on.
Yeah, because there was so much. That's what I'm saying. I would love to do this full time. We were talking behind the scenes, folks. Again, work is so busy now. Mav and I both have real lives, shockingly enough. We'd love to do this full time because, again, there was so much in these interviews that a lot of people missed or that was kind of buried. Destin said, I don't know if you heard, Final Fantasy 14 is finally coming to Xbox. Now the CEO of Square hinted that other games could be coming. So where's Final Fantasy 7? Are we going to get 16? What does that mean? Phil said, I recognize that when people buy an Xbox, they want to make sure the great games that they want to play are coming. Something we were just talking about with Baldur's Gate 3. That's why I brought this up as well. And if there's any publisher out there that hasn't been true, Square is one of the top profiles. You guys have all heard us talking about Square on this show and all of our shows. All right. So Sarah Bond and I fly to Tokyo, have conversations. We spent a lot of time with Square. There's obviously business deals and relationships that will have to get worked through on certain games, but obviously PlayStation, he's hinting that PlayStation deals are in place, which we knew about, but I'll say it was really great to have the CEO of Square and Yoshi there just talk about their commitment to Xbox, because I can say, quote, I'm the head of Xbox, blah, blah, blah. But you having the CEO of one of the third parties make a commitment to the platform, I thought was really a meaningful step. So you'll hear more. I'm not going to push them. They're going to have to find their own rhythm. But having him make a commitment to Xbox was really important, both to me and I've heard it from the community, to the community as well. And 14 was more of a commitment. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Phil is just saying, listen, Sarah Bond and I have done our work, more than our work, to try to get Square on board. New CEO comes in, Square having financial problems. obviously Sony is looming. They could purchase them, acquire them at any time. But for the time being, Phil is saying, we've done our part. Just listen to what he said. He made a commitment. We'll continue to work through the deals as necessary, but we're going to let them do that. We're going to let them find the rhythm. But he's the one who said, not just me, the CEO of Square said he is committed to Xbox. We're going to try to help him make that happen. However, but right now we're going to let that simmer. We've done our work. Is that what you got out of it too, Mav?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like when he says like, that's the Square CEO saying it, not me, right? Like that is the big thing here, and improving all these relationships with the different publishers is like a key thing. I think he's also credited Sarah Bond with a lot of this as well.
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
So they have this team that is doing all these different things, and you're starting to see like where we had like last year especially, and then earlier this year, like before Jane or very early this year before the dev direct, and then even a little bit of this earlier spring and early summer, there was like a lack of news around certain times, right? But you're starting to see like an overwhelming avalanche. It feels like 2020 all over again with the amount of news that keeps coming out. Remember how they like had like news like every week around then, and then it was just like acquisitions and the news, and then like new game announcements and like all this stuff, and it was like where did it go? ABK, right? ABK happened, all these things, and it's like, okay, they got to play weak, all this stuff, whatever. That was the conspiracy about it, but it seems like it's kind of true, based on a lot of the documents from court and stuff, right? So that,
and we talked about, Mav, what was going to happen now that all the cards were laid out on the table, right? We had those conversations. Now that the cards were laid out, it was our feeling that Xbox was going to get back to it. That Phil said, enough's enough. Let's go.
Especially once PlayStation was removed from the equation, right? Like, and now it's like this, just like, Final Fantasy, you got Starfield coming out. It's like release dates on other games, shadow drops, and more game announcements, and hype and excitement talking about 2024 already. That they also mentioned like they're gonna have more things to show at other shows and stuff. Like they had a big presence at Opening Night Live. Also, like they dominated. Opening Night Live was like the best Gamescom show I've seen. Right now, it's not like gonna hold up to like an Xbox showcase or something like that. You know, like with just tons of brand new big game announcements and stuff. But like Opening Night Live was very entertaining. It had massive, huge third-party games. You had Shadow Drop from Xbox there. You had 2 other games in there that are, I think they had a Silk Song trailer and a Payday 3 trailer as well. Both those games are coming to Game Pass day 1 also. Like there's just this Xbox presence that's starting to permeate more now. Not just with just news, but also with marketing and talk, and the executives are showing up a lot more, speaking up a lot more on social media and all this kind of stuff. So it's getting, that energy is getting back, right? And even bigger than it was, because, and a lot of it's because of Starfield. I mean, the Starfield hype is just immense and insane, but like it's just, we talked about this like several times, Pong, about like that line in the sand, right? That point in time, and why Starfield potentially, and this was our reasoning why we wanted it to come out in March, because we wanted it to set that this is the new Xbox going forward. This is
setting
now
that tone,
setting the tone for this is the brand new identity. This is what to expect, right? This is setting the stage, and it's, you can feel it, you can sense it happening right now. Big media, all these people are talking about it, all this buzz, right? Starfield has the chance to be like that new moment that creates the new identity for the Xbox brand going forward, right? And then just even think about little things in the background that are happening, like Halo's making a resurgence right now, and all of these things. It's like there's so much positive momentum here, right? Now in the past they've had this kind of stuff, and then they've shot themselves in the foot,
Yep.
But based on everything we're seeing, that is not happening with Starfield.
Correct.
Starfield seems to be what it's supposed to be, which is that generational defining experience, right? And that kind of game creates a different environment and fosters excitement about things to come as well, right? So Forza's following it just a month afterwards. And then you have all of 2024 to look forward to as well. And we've had numerous surprises this year. Like it's insane, man. Like they're hitting their stride. You said they cut the anchor. They cut the anchor and they put rocket fuel in that boat, dude. Like they're launching and taking off, and like what Phil said, Starfield. What Phil said, you know, about the players, right? The ecosystem and all the different places to play. It's allowing for different access for multiple people and different hardware and all this kind of stuff. It gives them potential to grow the user base even larger. And like we already know, they have more users technically than the competitor, right? So like this is even
we talked about that too. That's what they look at, is how many players
and how much they play.
How much they play. Those are the important metrics for them. And again, we've talked about this is nothing new or groundbreaking. It's just that Phil brought it up again as a point of emphasis that they have more active monthly users, and those active users spend more time in their ecosystem because of the types of games and products they're putting out, the content that they're putting in. That's what is important to him, and why you're seeing this diversity, and also why a game like Starfield, of course, is so important.
And if you see images of Gamescom,
yes,
it looks like a fucking Xbox show.
Oh, of course.
Like,
of course.
It does. Like, you just see images of it. It's just
they got the biggest
everywhere.
Biggest setup there, by far.
Boxenberger was talking about it, how like IGN was getting upset about the Starfield theater, where they had the 300 seat theater where they kept showing the live presentation of Starfield, and that was so loud it was disrupting them, and they were supposedly asking them to turn it down. And so like I don't know if this is true or not. It was funny as hell. But they said they actually went and they turned it up a little bit, which is awesome to hear, man. It's just that stick it to you moment. You want to keep leaving our games, our name off of your game releases. You know what?
This is our moment to shine, not yours, IGN.
Yes, like come on. The funny thing is just like it looked like every shot you see is just green. There's Xbox stuff everywhere. You got Starfield hype. The interviews you keep seeing are for games that are coming to Xbox, either in Game Pass, Day One, or our first party. And it's just like Gamescom is being dominated by Xbox. You know who's not there?
Yeah.
PlayStation isn't there. They didn't even bother to show up.
Nintendo's not there.
You remember people, I'm so concerned because there's not going to be a playable demo of Starfield at Gamescom. This whole Gamescom is being dominated by Xbox, which I gotta say looks fun as hell at this Gamescom. It looks like what E3 like vibes used to be like, of just like excitement, people hanging out, talking about games, relishing in games and stuff, and to see the hype and people talking about these awesome previews they've been seeing from all these games and stuff. Like,
and it's in a territory. It's in a territory, Mav, in which they're losing this generation again by a big amount, right? It's in that territory that they haven't figured out. It's not as bad as obviously Japan or any place like that, but the EU, Europe in general, has been a tough spot for Xbox. But they do have they know this.
Yeah.
And what did they go and do? They brought their biggest and best. They cut the anchor. They came out and said, we're coming back in a big way. First time in 6 years that Phil has been there. First time that Todd, that's right, God Howard, has never been to a Gamescom. They show up with one of the biggest games of the year. They go all out, not just for Starfield, but for their entire lineup, to show a territory, because they've got people, just because it's in Germany, They've got people from all over Europe. We think of Europe as like, oh God, every country. It's hard to imagine every country isn't as big as the United States. It's not like that. It's small. Their countries are like our states here in the United States. So they fly in from all over, and Xbox is showing up and showing out and saying, we're here to stay. Come check out our biggest game of the year in Starfield, one of the biggest games in the industry. We know you all want to see it. We know you all want to play it. This is a reason to go invest in our ecosystem. And oh, by the way, we've got all of this other stuff as well, including your Forzas, including your Stalker 2s coming. All of this other stuff is going to be available on our system day and date on Game Pass. Come check us out. They are making their presence felt in a spot that they've had a tough time in. They're trying to make a difference, Mav, and it shows. They're spending big money, big energy over there. Big D energy over there right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's awesome to see.
Silent Cypher hit us with another 5, says, might need to delay Starfield. I don't think it can stand up against Sonic this year.
Yeah, no, it hasn't had its 3 months of marketing, so they should push it out a couple more because obviously it's suffering.
Yeah. Nobody knows about it. And then another 2 from Silent Cypher.
Says
Sony is at Gamescom. They sent IGN there.
They did. It's true. Yeah. It's true. They got their partners in crime there. Very good. Very good.
Red Monkey Butt says, what does Big D mean? It means Dallas.
Yeah, Big D is Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
Absolutely. They're bringing Dallas. Everything's bigger in Texas. We all know that if you're in the United States. So that's what they're doing out there.
Welcome to the Big D. I don't mean Dallas.
There you go. Good. That was always good. Last thing from the Phil interview, and then we'll move on because I think this was covered a little bit. But again, it's something else we were wondering about, Mav. We speculated on this for quite a few episodes, actually, talking about the ABK deal once it's closed. Destin did ask him, and there was a funny segment I'll bring up first. Destin asked him about the ABK deal, and Destin said, so I'm going to be able to play Call of Duty right away, right? And then that led to a conversation and Phil clarifying what that was going to look like when the ABK. I'm not going to read his whole response because it was pretty intense. But first, Destin's question was, so, you know, you've got Bobby Kotick on the stand in court saying that he doesn't like Game Pass. He doesn't want to use he doesn't want to put Call of Duty into Game Pass day and date, etc. He goes, how are you going to rectify that situation once ABK deal goes through? And you saw Phil's mind. Like, should I say, he's like, should I say this? Like, I love these moments with Phil because we know from the court documents that Phil's a little bit different than his public facing Phil. He's still a cool guy, obviously. And he's still not a guy that necessarily likes, I don't know, kind of being edgy. He's not that guy, but the wheels turn and he goes, well, the person making the decision is going to be different after we acquire ABK.
Right.
Like I'm going to be in charge. So there's not going to be a problem anymore. Right. So I thought that was funny, but then he did go on to explain that there is a lot more involved than just acquiring this company, acquiring all these games and just dropping all the games into Game Pass, that there's more to be done behind the scenes.
He said mechanically.
Mechanically, correct. So that kind of answered our question, right, Mav? And I'll let you say what you need to say here. Kind of answered our question because we speculated on this. I thought it would be in waves because we saw it with ZeniMax. We did see an initial dump of Bethesda ZeniMax games, but then we saw waves after that. And I think that with ABK's library, it's probably going to be the same thing. Is that you're feeling too as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what that's what we've been saying from the start. We don't know exactly when the first ones are going to drop. It could take weeks. It could take months. It depends on the games, but we anticipate it in waves. And he said like we've seen before with their other acquisitions as well. So that's no surprise. I think the main question that everybody has is like, what about this year's Call of Duty, right? What about this year's Call of Duty? Yeah. I think that ship sailed already, probably with the marketing deal that is still contractually part of PlayStation. Year. So I think next year's game could be the first, if Call of Duty even stays with the same kind of release situation that they have currently, right? So it is interesting though, the more stuff we learn about Modern Warfare 3, and if you watch Jasper's breakdown that he had on his YouTube channel, he broke this down a little bit, and there's so much evidence that this was originally what was the original reports. Remember the original rumors that came out that this year's Call of Duty was going to be a big expansion, right?
Yep.
And if you just keep looking at the evidence of it, it just makes sense that they've converted this expansion of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 into a full release Modern Warfare 3 by cobbling up a bunch of stuff and jamming it together to make a game, right? So
Correct.
evidence is like Jasper had brought to attention, the open combat missions they are talking about, which was a big announcement that they had when they showcased the trailer at Gamescom, was it's rehashed Warzone maps. It's rehashed pieces from Warzone, or these open combat missions, and they are intertwined in the campaign. So let's say they had originally planned on a smaller size campaign. Now you kind of elongate the story. You have these open combat missions inserted throughout. Tweak those maps a little bit. You already have the content. You can kind of extend it. So that's one piece of evidence. Second piece of evidence, the maps for multiplayer are Modern Warfare 2 remasters from the original Modern Warfare 2. Like, does that make sense for a Modern Warfare 3? Right? Other pieces of evidence, it breaks the cycle. They have never released a Modern Warfare game back to back. It's always Modern Warfare and then like another game, then another game, and then like Modern Warfare, or every other year, or between Black Ops and Modern Warfare, and then sometimes something in between. It breaks the cycle. The other thing, like this cobbled togetherness. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. It could be great. I could love it. Like there's doing a lot of things here that sound like a lot of fun. But to not take advantage of the year's lead up of hype for a Modern Warfare 3, which would have been massive, and to have a bunch of Modern Warfare 3 maps and all that kind of stuff in there is also another piece of evidence. So I look at all this stuff, say, okay, they figured they could have enough content to justify a full release. They want to get that marketing deal done this year with a full release, instead of a big expansion. So they changed Modern Warfare 2, whatever. I think this is speculation. They changed Modern Warfare 2 tagline name expansion into Modern Warfare 3. It just doesn't make any sense otherwise. Like, it would be bad business to do this unless you had another ulterior motive, right? So that's why I think they're doing it. Plus, also the multiplayer maps for Modern Warfare 2 remasters. Like, that's all you need to know, right? Lord Starkiller XSX01 says the POS portal that doesn't even have Bluetooth. Yeah. We
$199 for what? For streaming in your house, and you can't use Bluetooth headsets. You can use the jack. They got a jack. They got a 3.5 millimeter jack.
So here's a pro tip, everybody.
Yep.
Which something I think everybody in the chat probably has.
Yep.
A cell phone.
Yep.
So you take your cell phone.
It's not the same, man.
You go
Dual sense.
Okay. You take your cell phone, you go get a backbone or a Kishi. The Kishi just announced the iPhone version as well. Like, get a backbone or a Kishi. You hook it up here. It's the same damn thing. It's the same damn thing. Costs you way less. Go get an original version of a Kishi. You can get one a lot of times like for $50 or so, right, or less. And you get cellular connection on your phone. Also, it's easier to pick up stuff. I don't know. Probably the Wi-Fi on your phone is going to be a hell of a lot better than on this thing as well. It's a fucking Wii U gamepad for $200 that you can use for your PS5.
It is. It's cheaper than what I was guessing, but it has less features.
Yeah. And you can't even use your PlayStation headset with it. You have to buy a new headset.
Right. Well, you can use a wired headset.
Yeah, if you want to use a wired headset.
Sure. You can use a wired headset.
Yeah.
Some people have suggested, well, maybe you could still hook up your Bluetooth to the PlayStation while you're streaming and get the sound from the PlayStation.
No, there's no local playback from the PlayStation either. So
Okay.
to it, so it's only
so
stream.
so otherwise you got to buy the how much were their earbuds?
I have no clue. Those were
190 199 too.
I have
I think
no
those were
clue.
200.
Yeah, craziness.
200 250.
Also your phone has Bluetooth.
Yeah, they do. So you can use any your Bluetooth earbuds that you currently have or headphones. Yeah.
Just I get some people that might be okay with this and like the
It's
device
fine.
for whatever.
It's
If
fine.
you find
If you wanna
it,
buy it,
if you
buy it.
find a use for it, you like it or whatever. I
But
think
it's
it's
definitely
it's just I don't
And
get it.
all those journalists, you know who I'm talking about. All those journalists that ran articles, play Sony to launch new PlayStation handheld. Go back and retract all of your descriptions of this device, please. This is not what this is in any way, shape, or form at all. This is an accessory.
I got a
Period.
question.
Point blank.
Can you do the same thing to a Logitech G Cloud? You should be able to, right? You from a PlayStation to a G Cloud.
Yes.
Buy that.
Right. And you could probably do that on a different Wi-Fi because this has to be the local Wi-Fi, the same Wi-Fi your PlayStation is on. So those people saying, well, if you got a strong enough Wi-Fi connection, no.
So
it doesn't work outside of your house.
Say that you can use it outside your house in a different Wi-Fi.
You can't.
I don't know.
They confirmed that it has to. The PlayStation 5 has to be on the same Wi-Fi network as the port.
Holy shit! That really?
Yes.
So buy a Logitech if you want a cloud stream. If you want a Wi-Fi streaming device or whatever, buy that because you're getting the same kind of experience, except you can also do 20 other million things on it. You can even play Game Pass and stuff on it.
And the earbuds are $200 too, Matt. Yes, the chat is.
How much is a Logitech G Cloud?
I think you can get it on sale for like what can you get it on sale for? 300, I think, $299.
I see one on eBay for $245. I don't know if it's used.
Yeah, there you go.
But
but yeah.
$300, pay $100 more, and get 10 times more functionality. You can leave your house with it.
Again, Sony missed on this. I saw parts of the circus, saying that it was good, but I saw a lot of parts of the circus even saying this ain't it. Like, what are you going to do with? Again, there's very specific situations that this would be useful, right? It's very specific situations that this would be useful in your home. Again, I can't get behind it. They stripped it of all features. Like this thing, like I don't get it. I don't get why anybody would spend $200 on this. Like you said, Mav, instead of going out and buying a full featured one for $100 more, even $150 more, that give you access to tons of different ecosystems. Like doesn't make any sense.
The lack of Bluetooth in this thing is astounding. It's crazy. Yeah.
Because they want you to buy the fucking earbuds, man. It's classic Sony. This is Apple. It's Apple. It's crazy. Yeah. Go ahead. I know we got super chats.
Lord Star-Killer as well. Lord Star-Killer with a 5 says, my Xbox and PS gaming is done using my Razer Kishi. For those with the budget, would rather have a ROG Ally instead of the PS Portal. For sure. I don't know. Like I think individual cloud streaming devices are cool and all as well, but like for the right price point and for what right functionality, this just doesn't serve any kind of value purpose for me, right? Alvin with the 5 says PlayStation has revealed $1,320 worth of accessories this year and one exclusive game. Shame that.
No doubt. Did you get the $2 from Lord Star-Killer and the $2 from Why So Serious?
No, I didn't. Why So Serious with the 2. That POS portal can't even stream its own service. And then Lord Star-Killer again with the 2 says POS portal that doesn't even have Bluetooth. Right.
Correct. Exactly. Like I said, this is the most stripped down accessory I've ever seen. Like, again, do what you want to do. This is Sony at its finest. Again, they take a lot of cues from Apple. It is what it is. Again, if they got people buying, but like I said, this is going to be very niche. I saw Matt Piscatella, who does analyst work. If you've seen Matt Piscatella on Twitter, shout out to him. Give him a follow. He's great for the analytics. He analyzes the sales numbers every month and stuff. He's very good at his job. He put out a tweet that he sees single digit % attach rate with this thing. Like, and then he said that's being generous.
Yeah.
Because there's just again, it's such a, between this and the PSVR 2, it's like Sony's trying, and again, I don't have a
they're
problem.
They're a hardware company, right? Like,
they're a hardware company, but they're just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, it just doesn't, I don't see the strategy in this. Why not just make a new Vita? Again, you got better. Vita actually sold well long term, even though you didn't support it. It sold long term. Had you supported it, it probably would still be success. It would be highly successful.
The Vita was awesome.
But this is the PSTV all over again. I just like, again, not my decision, not my money. I don't run billion-dollar companies, but these don't make any sense for me.
You could do this stuff that they're talking about now with the Vita back in the day.
Yes, you could. You could do it with the PSP, for God's sake.
Yep. You could do low. It's crazy. Xbox also had kind of, I mean, it's not hardware, it's soft hardware this week.
Whoa, pause. Hey, where are we going with this?
The Xbox Wrap.
Yeah, the Wrap. Yeah.
I mean, it's an accessory. Yeah, it's an Xbox accessory. Like, might as well
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, for anybody who didn't know, we've been talking about, where are the custom consoles? Xbox, you do 1 million, almost literally at this time, Xbox controllers. Okay, you are always pushing custom controllers, all these great options for everybody. Everybody loves them, but the custom console has died. And like I said, and I said this last week, you've got the perfect console to do custom consoles the way, the shape it is in. And we've talked about it. I said, why isn't Xbox, I've said this before, why isn't Xbox doing their own custom skins and selling their own custom skins for the Xbox? We see other companies doing it. Why not them? Sony has finally started doing the plates for the PlayStation 5. Again, design wise, whatever. Spider-Man 2 is the best one, whatever. But they've been doing them. Why not something for the Xbox? So this week it did get finally announced, because everybody's like, you're losing out by not doing a Starfield one. They came up with this wrap system. I'm not going to lie. I had a thought about this type of wrap system, not exactly what they're doing. What they're doing is ingenious in a lot of ways. I love it. But I had an idea early on, Matt, when I was thinking about different things. I always think about stuff that I should do that I never wind up doing in designing. But I did think about something that actually fit over the top, that slid over the top, right? Because of the shape, it's very easy to manufacture something like a skin that would slide over the top that you could take off easily, not like sticker wise. But I was thinking about that. So they came out with this new, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like almost like a pad, Mav, the way that it's set up, right? It's thick. It's thicker, I should say.
What some were saying, and was maybe they think of it kind of like an iPad case type material.
Yeah, like an iPad case, correct. Yeah, that I did see that too. That's a perfect description of it. Yeah, like a phone case, kind of like that almost rubbery leather material. I know Steineken, shout out to Steineken, head of Xbox community. He put it out there that it's almost like a leather feeling material, pad, whatever you want to call it.
With a soft inside. Yeah,
with a soft inside, so it's not going to hurt your console in any way, shape, or form. And what it does is wrap around your console, and then on the back, it's got Velcro that it attaches to, but you get a full design. Like, this is ingenious, and it's raised. Some of the graphics on there are raised on there. This is high quality stuff, folks. This isn't something they just slap together. It's obviously something.
They're saying a $20-$30 sticker, right?
Yes. Instead, now people have questioned the price. I think the Starfield one is $50, right, Mav? You bought it. $50?
Yeah, $50 for the Starfield one, $45 for the standard ones.
But this reminds me of the faceplate days. And I love that. Again, I didn't go out and spend oodles of money on faceplates. I didn't have all these different faceplates, but I had a couple different ones. I had a Halo faceplate. I had a Gears faceplate that I would swap out, interchange. They made the faceplate on the Xbox 360 to do that. And it was ingenious. It was great. This is on that same level, because the fact is if this takes off, and of course, Starfield one is selling like hotcakes, you could do this for all your major releases. You could do this for third-party releases. Like, this should be something they do, because it's easily interchangeable. And if there's one thing we know about people, just look at how many freaking controllers you guys sell whenever you bring out new ones. People like to change their stuff out all the time. And this is an easy way to do that, to give people an opportunity to make their console look something different than just a, black oblique, right? That it's easy. It's easy. And it doesn't cost it doesn't have the same cost as a new console.
Yeah.
So
and it's reusable too. Like for me, the selling point was like, most skins and stuff is like, if you can't, once you take it on, you take it off, it's ruined.
I said obelisk.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Obelisk.
I'm telling you, after a full days of work, coming and doing podcasting is like, oh my God. Sometimes my words is, obelisk. No, obelisk. All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just realized what I said.
The collector's aspect of this to me is what sells me on it, because I do see myself like, maybe I'll switch these out from time to time. I will look forward to what other ones get announced, and I will collect them. I may end up having my different Xboxes with different ones, and then swap them out or whatever. And then when I'm not using them, create like a display situation with like lights shining through it or whatever. Like I could see numerous reasons for keeping these
frame it
with the high quality. Yeah, it's like artwork at that point, and it's not going to just like be a sticker that gets fucked up if you take it off, right? So I am 100% down for this. The price is like, it's like $50. It is, but
it's right
for
in line
something that will last and be reusable and not just a throwaway sticker that they sell those for $30-$40 a lot of times. Like, this is way more value than that for sure.
Correct.
And it also, with the way they did it with the raised ink and all these kind of things with the extra detail, it adds an extra layer that you may even get with some other custom stuff. And the biggest benefit is like the amount they have to do it right, but the hope is that they do come out with these for several different games, and there's not like this whole,
I love that.
There's not like a whole thing about like, oh, we got to hold Series X's back for production, and then the cost of designing a whole custom console, and then they're selling the custom consoles for $550 to $600 at that point with the game. All this is just like a much easier solution that allows the masses to be able to get that, because even those custom consoles are usually limited, and once they're gone, they're gone, which is cool for collector's editions, and I do like that aspect somewhat, but it's like, people do get left out with that regard. And in this way, like, and I can't imagine Xbox like makes much money on those either. They probably lose money on those custom design consoles. You know what
absolutely,
I mean? Like,
because the consoles are already losing money.
So business wise, which I don't really care about the business, but like business wise, it makes a lot more sense too, because you can make a little bit of profit on this thing. And then if it takes off, you keep doing new ones and get people, like, people are going to collect them, you swap them out, as long as the quality holds up, as long as it is what they say it is, what people are saying. And you see people like Jason Ronald and Stein say stuff really positive about it.
And Bach saw him live there at Gamescom too. And he said
I saw the pictures. It looked sick, bro. It looked like a custom console.
It does.
It looked like a custom Series X, right?
I can't believe they didn't have this ready out the gate. I can't believe they did. This is something they should have. I mean, my God, Halo, they could have had multiple Halo ones, right? It would have been this is going to be a big seller for them. I can already guarantee.
They just got to make sure
they do it right.
The shipping is done right, because you don't want to get like bent up and in shipping.
No,
right?
It's got to be right. It's got to be right when it shows up. But they always are really good on their shipping for the most part. I've never had anything come bad from that. They pack their stuff so well. If they do this right, Matt, we are going to see more of this. Can you imagine like a glow in the dark one? Bro, you could have a different image glow in the dark in the background for like Hellblade. You could have like Senua in one, with her like normal face, and then have it glow in the dark where she's in that screaming mode, right? You could do so many different things with this. Oh my God. Like this is,
you could sell higher end ones with like RGB and shit. Like,
hell yeah, you could do so many things. Yes, this is an ingenious idea. I love this one. This is really good. And then eventually allowing people to customize theirs, much like they do with whatchamacallit, for the controllers, allowing people to pick different colors and do different things. That would be fantastic too. This is a brilliant idea
for the people out there. Like, it's gonna cause heating issues on your console and all this stuff. It's like,
you don't think the airflow that they've got set up on the Series X? Come on, folks. Come on. It's not going to do any of that. My God, people are so dumb. They try to find anything.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea. It is priced within reason. Again, if I wasn't in the situation I was in, I just couldn't justify it right now. I would have definitely had Starfield 1. It is what it is. But I'm just happy they're doing it, and I can't wait to see what else they come out with. I hope they continue this. The camo ones were a little weird for their first regular ones out the gate.
Who's gonna buy those? You know,
why not? Like, why not do a Halo? Why not do a Master Chief?
Yeah, they could have done like multiple games at once.
Right.
Instead,
yes, they could have. Use your iconic characters. For God's sakes, Xbox. Use your a Gears one right now. I don't care if you don't have a current Gears game out. Gears is still big enough. I would love to see a freaking Gears one, man. Oh my God, it'd be so damn cool.
I think maybe like they just wanted to have a slight.
I know they're just trying it out. They're doing an initial run.
It's just weird choice for the initial run. I agree. It is. Like I would even like a solid blue with a little or something like that, or you know, like solid green would be pretty sick too. Like I don't know.
Huge Xbox symbol on the outside green, like the logo and stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Again, people love
They're just trying
to
get these to match the camo controllers that they had released.
Which is correct. But I just think they could have done more.
That's like my least favorite design.
We'll see where they take it. Hopefully this is a start and not just a limited run where they try it and say, it didn't really work out for us. No, you put out the right ones, Xbox, you will sell out every time.
They must have metrics that their camo controllers sell really well.
Yes,
I guess.
Yes. I do know that that's popular. The camo controllers are popular. I would have put out a Master Chief one. It would have sold like hotcakes, Mav.
Oh yeah,
a cool ass Master Chief one. Oh my God, it would have been out of the.
They got to have one for every big first party game they do.
Yes.
And then
they
more.
Right. Xbox here, Phil, do it.
Spartan 661 with a 20. Very generous,
Thank you,
Spartan. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Spartan.
Says the hate that Sony had for Xbox is ridiculous. The original Xbox had a hard drive to save games and music you could play through your surround sound. Memory cards were to bring your friend's house to transfer your saves. Yeah, I remember that. You just take your memory card out, you bring your save over to your friend's house. I had one I took in my pocket all the time.
Sony did that too with their memory cards, right? But the VMU on the Dreamcast was big for that as well.
Yeah.
Like there was, I miss those days. Those days were damn cool. You can do that now with the expandable SSD. It's just that they should have a cheap version of that, and they don't. So it's getting better with Western Digital, but that is one of the mistakes that they did with that proprietary memory card thing that they did.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Pong, we're 2 hours in and we haven't even tackled the Starfield
we haven't done any. I was just going to say that myself, bro. We knew tonight. Again, there is so much, folks. The Future Game Show, which I watched part of it. Mav didn't even touch. There was tons of announcements there. We didn't even go through opening night live yet, Mav, with all the announcements there, which was kind of an Xbox dominated show. We've got so much to talk about with Starfield and what's come out here. Mav, do you want to get into the Pete Hines interview? He's done multiple too. It hasn't been just Phil.
There's one that has just some really fun details.
And I sent you the Idle Sloth. Shout out to Idle Sloth as always, breaking it down with I watched this one as much as I could at work today. I watched a lot of it. But Idle broke down some of the major stuff that he talked about. Do you want to bring that up and go through it? I gotta run real quick.
Let me find it here real quick. Yeah, Idle Sloth.
I don't even know if we're gonna get to the interview, so I'll just say it now. Todd did some short interviews at Gamescom, not really any long ones like Pete has been doing. Pete's been kind of like the face at Gamescom. He's been doing a lot. But Todd's interview with GQ, which was quoted by Eurogamer. Everybody used the Eurogamer article. Go and actually read the GQ article that Todd did. You want to talk about getting behind the scenes. You want to talk about because GQ doesn't just focus on Starfield.
Long interview.
Long form interview. They've got Todd. GQ doesn't care. They got Todd swearing in there. Like again, these guys have a different public face. Obviously, it's still gaming, folks. But when you get behind the scenes, they're just normal dudes. It's really cool to hear that kind of stuff. And Todd is so passionate. But they talk to Todd about more than just Starfield. And there's some really interesting stuff. I don't know if we'll have time to get into it, but go ahead, Matt. Start with the Pete Hines breakdown of his big interview today, and I'll be right back.
I'll go through these, and when we get back, we can maybe touch on the other one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this was Pete Hines, and shout out again to Idle Sloth for sharing this. And I guess the original source was from Reddit, but here's some fun little details about Starfield. To if you are already juiced a little bit, this is like basically a Q&A that he did, and absolutely amazing stuff, right? So if you're excited for Starfield, you might just be a little bit more excited here in a second. All right, so these are some of the answers that he had given during the interview, and notes. This is the points, right? The game doesn't really start until after the main quest. So basically, like once the main quest is done, that's when it's like everything, I guess, is more open, and it's for me. I kind of it goes into the feeling of the rumor, or not the rumor, when Todd said that there was like 2 big moments in this game, right? 2 big eye-opening moments for this game, 2 big wow factor, like step into the world type moments. So for me, it's like this may add to that a little bit, like finish the main quest and maybe it opens up to even something else that it's like adds a whole nother element to the game where it really even picks up more. So that's absolutely crazy to think, right? Second thing, says his favorite Bethesda main quest ever. That's high praise coming from Pete. Now he's also the marketing guy. But you know, yeah, games like Oblivion, which also I think Phil said this during another little one of his interviews when he's talking about Starfield, where he said Phil has like 200 hours in. He's on his like 15th playthrough, but not like where he plays through the whole game each time, because like, you know, they've been testing a lot of things, and he said like they changed the way the saves work and all that kind of stuff several times. So he's restarted the games several times. He's been playing since November, and Phil has like 200 hours in to the game. And he said to him, the game is more Oblivion than Skyrim, which for RPG fans out there, if you are like really into like the RPG-esque stuff about it, that is absolutely awesome. That makes me really excited. But Pete also said it's his favorite Bethesda main quest ever. So this is also an interesting nugget. Pete says he once accidentally got sucked into the vacuum of space because he boarded an enemy ship and the pilot took off. So he was boarding an enemy ship, and then I guess something happened and he got sucked into the vacuum of space. Which is crazy. He just got sucked into space, floating into Oblivion, I guess. Then we also got another little nugget. That's cool. Multiple passive points of interest across the galaxy to find. An example he gave was a set of farms where the people give resources to the people of other planets. So just a random point of interest that's just there that has ramifications on the world that are passive, but not necessarily just like you're directed to go to, right? It's like it makes the world more believable because this exists, but you didn't have any reason to go there. You just discovered it, right? Modders will be able to create planets. That's a big one. We were wondering about how far is the modding going to go with this. Modders will be able to create entire planets. Let that sink in. Modders will be able to create entire planets here. Think about how big of a space that is. Insane. It goes on to say certain companions will get annoyed with you if you do bad things, even companions who are really close to you. So you know, there's our companions you can romance and stuff. Like I think 4 of them. Maybe I think the constellation members, some of the main companions you have, and I guess some of the companions can also get annoyed if you do certain things, right? That's the way a lot of these RPGs work too. It's the way it works in Baldur's Gate 3. It's they may approve or disapprove of your actions or what you do. Um, Lots of settlements with their own people and quests to find outside of the major cities. So there's the major cities, but there's also lots of settlements with their own people and quests to find outside of that. Also, New Game Plus. This was another big news thing today. Starfield has New Game Plus. New Game Plus relates to the main story, so we couldn't say a word on it. It says it's different from most New Game Plus mechanics, and it's rather special, which we found out later, which came out. New Game Plus stacks upon itself for each playthrough. So you continuously keep getting your same progression, all that stuff added in for your new playthrough. I'm guessing maybe inventory ships, all that stuff. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
But that sounds crazy, dude. It adds more playability to this game.
Like this game needs more playability.
No. Then also, let's see here. Doesn't know if you can fly from planet to planet as grav driving is much quicker. Only takes a few seconds apparently. So I guess he hasn't tried it yet. Just flying from planet to planet, like just personally.
Yeah, there was a lot Pete admitted to not knowing.
Yeah.
He's like, everybody thinks just because we're creating this game that all of us know every little thing about the game. He goes, that's not how it works. Pete's got an attitude to him. I like it. He's got an edge. He's like, I'm here to tell you that's not how it works, folks. Like, we all do different things and test different things. And he's like, we don't know everything about even our own game. He goes, so I haven't tried some of this stuff. I don't know some of this stuff.
Right. So I'm wondering, like, maybe because of how realistic the game is or whatever, how long it may take to go to actually fly from planet to planet without
this has been a question. Yeah, this has been a question. This is a question I even brought up, whether or not how big the space was limited that we could free fly in, which was the question. Really, right. That's what they were asking. And I do have a question. I'm wondering if it is boxed off and there's only so much that you can fly free. That is one of the curiosities I do have. And it sounds like, again, I would assume with the way that they've set up the grav drive system, with the way that they've set up the fuel system where they didn't want people worried about running out of fuel, I'm assuming there's limitations to how long you can free fly for before you hit a wall and you have to grav drive somewhere else. I think they probably have them boxed off into separate areas. The universe is, cordoned off into sectors that you actually do have to jump to the next sector. Now, how big that is, I don't know, because it does seem like you can free fly from, let's say you're on a planet, you see another planet, you see a moon. If it's within visual range, I have a feeling you can fly to it, free fly to it. It might take you a while, but I have a feeling that you can free fly to those. But outside of that visual range, I think you might have to jump. So that's just my thoughts.
Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, so weapon mods combined with skills are really diverse. Said that he felt like Iron Man at one stage. So that's interesting too. Like, and we saw some of this with the Dev Direct, the Starfield Direct. They had like the ice mechanics in there with like one of the guns that had like ice, and you could even see like the ice building up in the ship and the environment from it as well. You saw how like the with the booster pack, if you use like a actual regular gun, you will be kicked back in zero gravity, whereas if you use energy weapons, you won't, right? So lots of different interesting things here, dude. I could imagine people having fun with the mechanics on that for sure. All right, so you can get bounties put on you, but there are ways to undo them.
Correct.
Right.
We figured. Yep.
A museum on New Atlantis explains the lore of the game, the colony war that what happened to Earth, etc. Yeah, these Bethesda games are always deep on lore. It says the boost pack skill is really important and fun. That's one that's going to be a must for most of us, I think.
And just to add to that, because he did kind of expand on this. There's been people that have been playing it that have claimed that their booster pack is broken, and they've been like, well, did you put a skill in the booster pack? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, you can't use the boost pack. It might be on your back, but you can't use it until you put a skill into that. So that's one thing to be aware of is that otherwise you're just going to be running and jumping everywhere if you don't use any skills on the boost pack.
Right.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Mhm.
But I will be using the boost pack skill for sure. Adoring fan cannot become a robot.
Yeah.
As probably a silly question.
So yeah, somebody asked him if you could change the adoring fan into something else, and he
Right.
said no. The
Okay.
NPCs are not customizable. Is what he said.
Right. That's a strange question, but that's fine.
Yeah, strange question. Yes.
There's an enormous amount of creatures. He has no clue how many are in the game.
And he said if he knew, he wouldn't tell us anyways.
Right.
He's like, that's one of the surprises. So
also has no clue how long it would take to 100% the game. Says after 150 hours, he isn't even slightly close.
Yeah, he brought this up multiple times. He's got one, and he's got multiple playthroughs. He's like 300-400 hours into the game, but this last save is about 150 hours. And he said this in the other interview, which was a big point that everybody brought up. He's 150 hours in. He purposely hasn't touched a lot of stuff in it. And so he has no idea, but he knows there's a ton more to play. He also brought the fact that he was in one of his other playthroughs, he was like 80 hours in or 60 hours in. And Todd asked him, well, how far are you in? And so he told him like 60 hours or whatever it was. And Todd's like, so how's that main quest line going? And Pete said, oh, I haven't even touched the main quest line yet. And Todd was like, what? What?
Right.
He goes, what are you doing? Because supposedly, did you already touch on this one, or is that?
Yeah, the first one was the game doesn't really restart the main quest.
Right. There's, I guess, the main quest in this one is not that you have to do it, because again, Pete emphasized time and time again, play this game how you want to play this game. Do not, think that you have to play it a certain way. He's like, this is a BGS game through and through. Play how you want to play, do what you want to do, and see what happens. But he did say, that obviously the main quest line is a big part of this, and that there are things that will happen and open up as you play the main quest line that will make a big difference in how the game is going. Right. Yeah. So again, that's to be expected, but he did say that this is his favorite mainline BGS quest line ever by far.
Yeah. So, and I speculated earlier about the possibility of that being that second open moment, right? Yes, at the end of the main quest, potentially, right? It's like, I don't know. It's interesting.
And we also speculated that the space magic, or the force powers, as I call them, the force powers are attached to the main quest line as you find more of the artifacts and stuff. So you may not get that skill, up to its full potential unless you are going through the main quest line. That was one of my
speculations. And who knows how far that goes.
Correct.
It could be crazy. It could be like, I don't know. It's anyway, lots of mod support post launch.
Yep. Confirmed what we already knew, but somebody did ask, and he said, yeah, just like all of our other games coming out. And then he went on and said, we're giving everybody planets to create if they want to. He's like, just imagine. He goes, you already know how our community is with all of our other games. He goes, now we've given them this. Just wait. So yeah, exactly what we thought.
Let's see here. Also, mission boards can ask you to build outposts on planets.
Yes.
So you can get a mission to build an outpost on a planet.
Complex missions. Go ahead. The next one. Go ahead.
It says he gave a hilarious example where the mission board gave him a quest to take two people across to a different planet, like a space taxi. Yep. After 5 hours, he found the two people still on board his ship and realized he had completely forgot to take them to their destination.
and he actually expanded by that too, man. I don't know if you heard this story, but he had actually had to travel somewhere. So he had saved the game, traveled, came back to the game, whatever it was, days or a week later or whatever it was, completely forgot these people were on his ship still, and started doing other stuff, then wound up going, why are these two extra people on my ship, and who are you? And then he talked to him and remembered, and then he was like, oh yeah, I gotta go do this. And then he still wound up on his way to take these two people on their trip, still wound up getting sidetracked by like 3 other things that would just showed up while he was traveling. He said that's how crazy this game gets.
That's how Bethesda game's supposed to be, right?
Yes.
Lots of Easter eggs as you'd expect across the game. No level cap, he thinks.
He thinks, yeah.
New Game Plus makes that interesting as well.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And maybe there's different places you can find that give you different abilities that you can take into. I don't know. All that's really interesting. Starter guides are coming out according to the German interviewer. No clue when. People on PC who have played the game early have said performance is smooth.
Correct.
Fair enough.
Yep.
That makes me excited. Those are fun nuggets. I love those kind of little...
A lot of nuggets, because in this interview was done on Twitch, and I think the two girls who were interviewing him were actually a part of the Bethesda team in Europe. It made it seem that way, that the way that they were talking about it. I don't know what part they were, but they've been playing the game obviously as well. But most people are under NDA, but they were allowed to talk about their feelings on the game more so than the NDA people, right? That we all know are playing it in the community and the reviewers. So that's why so many different nuggets came out here, because they all kind of were allowed to talk about exactly what they've been experiencing and how big it is, and just how much there is to do. And I think that's the biggest thing that Pete has brought across. Like in the other interview that he did with IGN, I believe it was, when he first said the 150-hour quote, where he said that he still has not even come close to seeing everything or doing everything. The other thing that he said was, we're trying to explain how big this game is. And I think Todd originally said it's irresponsibly big. And he said that no matter how I try to explain this, he's like, you can't. He's like, until you get it in your hands, he goes, we now have reviewers and people with the game in their hands, and they're all to a T coming back and saying you guys weren't lying when you said how big this game is. And it seems like everything that we thought this game could be, it pretty much is. Now, obviously, also in this interview, I should bring up, because some people have speculated on this and wanted to know the answer. Pete did confirm there's no fleet flying. So you're not going to have a fleet of ships with you. You're not going to be able to have your NPCs, your companions, fly different ships. I know Fuzzy was hoping for that. I was obviously hoping for that.
Yeah.
But he did confirm that's not happening in this game. So
we'll have to wait for the Starfield MMO for that.
Or we'll have to wait for the mods. The mods will do it.
Right.
The mods will get it. We'll have capital class ships. We'll have full fleets. I can't just wait. Imagine what we're going to see a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. So, but that's the fact. But again, I think overall, Pete has been out here so much doing interviews. That's the biggest theme. If anybody wants to know kind of what Pete's been talking about, he's given a bunch of different nuggets. But honestly, the way that he has described this game as truly being everything they learned from BGS games prior, and pouring it all into this game, and then just making it a whole universe instead of one area of land or even one planet, but giving you this much freedom. That's really what this game is about. And, you know, again, that you're going to create your own story just like every other BGS game, but there's like X times more amount of stories that you're going to be able to create just because of this sheer size and scope of this, that there's so much more that you're going to be able to do. That's really what shined through on all of these interviews that Pete did for me personally. Like I can't be any more hyped, Mav. I really can't. I find ways to get more hyped by these interviews, by everything I'm seeing, by watching the leak that I did. Honestly, I can't believe it. This is a dream come true game for me and for so many Bethesda fans out there. This really is a dream come true game. Todd, again, in the GQ interview, reiterated that this game means everything to him. They talked about Pete talked about the story behind it when Todd went to the former owner of ZeniMax, who sadly passed away. What's his name, Mav? Do you remember?
I don't remember the name.
I forget his name
because he wasn't like a very public figure there.
He wasn't a public figure, but everybody kind of knew who he was. Obviously, he was good friends with Phil and everybody else too. Let me look up his name real quick because I want to give him the credit that's credit due for here first. Robert Altman. Altman, the former owner of ZeniMax. Pete described the story behind it, when he was there, when Todd originally pitched Starfield to Robert Altman. Mm-hmm. And Pete's like, you got to imagine, we're the makers of Elder Scrolls and Fallout. He's like, these gigantic franchises, right? These massively popular franchises. And he said, in walks Todd and I, and Todd goes, yeah, you know, Robert, we don't want to make Elder Scrolls or Fallout again right now. We want to make this new IP. He's like, you got to imagine, like, he's like, he's like, being a part of this company, because Pete said he's coming up on 24 years, I think it is now, with Bethesda. He's like, knowing the company, knowing like the ownership at the time, he's like, I can hear them all screaming, what do you mean you're not going to make the next Elder Scrolls, right? Because this was right after Fallout 4. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you can hear everybody just going, what? And he goes, but Todd sat in there and said, and I've already got the name for it, and it's Starfield. And he's like, I want to secure the name because I love the name so much. He's like, I need to secure this name, but this is the game I want to do. And if we don't do it now, we're probably never going to do it again. So this is the next game we want to make. And he's like, he convinced Robert Altman to do this. He's like, but think about that. Like you've got for sure hits in a new Elder Scrolls, like the biggest franchise.
Yeah, that would be like Rockstar not doing a Red Dead or a GTA or Grand Theft Auto, and instead making a whole nother franchise. And that would prolong the amount of time it would take them to make another one of those.
A for sure hit, like a moneymaker. Again, this is before Microsoft. Yeah. So this is when the board, I mean, again, they still were worried about money. Like this was a huge risk. And he said, you know, Todd convinced Robert, and Robert was on board with it and said, go ahead. But that's the unbelievable part. The beginnings of this game. Yeah. And Pete confirmed it was like 8 years ago, or whatever. It was right after Fallout 4 when they first started talking about actually going forward with this project or whatever else. We also found out in the GQ interview with Todd that the code name originally was Project Genesis. And Genesis came from both the Bible and Star Trek, Wrath of Khan, of course, with the Genesis project in that movie as well. Big influences, obviously, on this game. So it was Project Genesis behind the scenes. Also, real quick, in the GQ article, again, go read it. It's fascinating stuff if you want to get some really good reporting, actually, behind the scenes with Todd and everybody at Bethesda. They asked Todd about retiring. Once again, we talked about this, and he said no. He's like, I can't see myself doing anything. And he pointed out Miyamoto from Nintendo and said, look, he's over 70 and still doing it. He goes, now, and we speculated on this, and I said maybe Todd's, you know, position changes, but maybe he doesn't walk away. And Todd said that. He goes, maybe how I work, or, you know, the work I do changes a little bit, but he goes, no, I don't see that anytime. I can't see that right now. I can't. He goes, I want to keep making things.
If we could get 20 more years of Todd Howard games, I think we're all going to be extremely happy.
Please, Todd, please stick around for as long as you want to, bud. Please. I don't know, Mav. This stuff, like I said, the hype levels are off the charts for me. Next week can't come soon enough. You talked about in the opening as well that just every game is kind of meh right now, bland. It just nothing appeals. And I know we're strange like that. We get these games that do that. Not everybody's like that, but we do. I know there's other people out there listening right now that are the same way. You're not alone. This does happen around a big, gigantic release that means a lot to you as a video gamer. I can't think of one, again, outside of Cyberpunk was my last time where I kind of had these same feelings. That next week can't come soon enough. Thursday night can't come soon enough. I want this thing in my hands. Like I said, the leak, I'm not going to say anything specific about the leak, but I did watch it, which was basically the entire opening prologue. It was about 45 minutes long. I did watch the entire thing because those don't bother me. They don't take anything away from my experience when I get my hands on the controller. And for the first time, it was off screen by a cell phone recording. So again, a lot of it was lost. But what I will tell you is, even though it was terrible quality, even though it was off screen, seeing that running on a Series X And again, that's what the leak was. It was a Series X. It was straight up in the dude's living room. Got me even more hyped. And let me tell you, the Series X people that are like, or the Series console players who are like, oh man, I'm going to have to play in 30 frames. I guess I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this game. I would say, while I could tell, of course, that it was 30 frames, I would tell you that this is the top end of the top end best 30 FPS games that you could play, because there were moments where I did not even notice it at all. Like while I was watching him play, it looked that good. And Todd, originally said that in his interviews, that he thinks that this 30 frames, what they've pulled off here, is super smooth and one of the best experiences that they've ever created. I gotta believe him after watching this. So for you guys, for everybody out there that's going to be playing on the series consoles, I say fear not at this point. And the graphics detail, again, even off screen, cell phone, you could see how impressive this Creation Engine 2.0 is. This is not any way, shape, or form Fallout or Skyrim. Like, you could see how crispy, detailed the graphics are. So you guys are all in for a treat. Even playing on the series console or playing on PC, you're all in for a series treat with this game. It just got me more hyped. I'm telling you, combat, chef's kiss. Third person, chef's kiss. You know how hard S.T.A.L.K.E.R is? You guys probably heard some of Steel Rain's talk about third person. He doesn't like playing single player games with first person. He watched the leak himself. A lot of it was in third person. He was hyped in the DMs about how good that third person looked. They've done their work here, Mav. They really have.
Yeah. I'm staying away from it just because
it's gone now. So it's been pulled down. So you can't even watch it anymore.
But everything I've seen, like, I've been watching a lot of the stuff again. I rewatched the Starfield Direct again. I rewatched trailers and stuff, and it's fucking gorgeous, man. I've been like trying to fill the void in my life with like space content and things to get ready for
you've been
Starfield.
Watching movies and everything.
Nothing holds up, like, because nothing is on the scale of like what this game is, right? Like, it's on another level, like nothing we've seen. There's not really a movie, a show, another video game that tackles the same exact kind of thing. Right?
Let me ask you this, Mav, while you're on this topic.
Yeah.
After seeing the live action trailer, which they debuted on the opening night live, right?
Yeah.
I really want a Starfield series.
Yeah. I
bro,
dude,
that trailer is fucking dope.
Just the like color scheme, like
yes.
the way it was presented, yes. Like the art, yeah. Like art style of that, of what they created with that. It was like
how they encapsulated like all the different things in the game in that short, what was it, like a minute and a half, 2 minute trailer? Like they short. They got exploration, they got combat, they got everything, they got the emotions, they got the artifacts.
That was live action trailer. Sent chills up and down my fucking spine, dude. It was like the epitome of what I've been searching for in movies and TV shows that I can't find. Like, I'm trying so many different things. The last thing I did start watching that I'm gonna get into, I think, is there's a show on Apple TV called Foundation.
Yeah.
And I watched the first episode. It kind of started slow and stuff, but it is about like, okay, there's different like organization in space, and like the people have traveled to different planets, all this stuff. So it's like kind of like set around the same kind of situation in some ways, but like very different at the same time. Like, it's not like the grounded NASA punk style of like Starfield, which I'm like super finding like a realistic and believable type like thing here. Like the way that trailer was presented, I need that in a TV show. I don't want a movie. Okay. I will say maybe you can start it with a movie and then do a show. But like, the thing about movies, I love movies, is that you don't have as much opportunity to tell a longer story because you have to fit everything into one isolated story event that takes place like to where you can make a 2 to 3 hour thing. But if you do a show, you can have like 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons of hour-long, amazing content, right? And stories, and you can really flesh it out. That's what I want for Starfield. If they do it, as they're doing it with Fallout, right? Maybe we'll get an Elder Scrolls show eventually, but Starfield, and please, it has to somewhat look like that trailer, because it was fucking gorgeous, dude.
It was. It like I said, I just couldn't believe how much they captured of the feelings of a Bethesda game in a short like how they did it, how they wrapped it all up with quick combat and then exploring a cave with giant glowing crystals and wonder and all that kind of stuff, touching the artifact. Like they just got it all so, it was just so well done. It was just so well done. And ending it with him coming back and the little girl growing older because he's been out there for so long, and her wearing the patch that he gives her when he first leaves. Like, bro, you just grab me, man. You just grab me, you grab my heart, and you just, again, it's everything. I got chills right now. I got goosebumps. I literally do. This is what Bethesda games do for me, like personally. Again, if you're not a Bethesda fan, that's cool. Not everybody is. Again, they don't sell 1 billion copies of their games. They, you know, again, Skyrim's, 50 million or somewhere close to that right now. But this is what it does for me. This is why since day one, Mav and I have been here hyped about Starfield. This is why we laughed and couldn't believe it when people are asking about why we were excited for Starfield, because you guys don't even know what it is. This is why. We know who Bethesda is. We know who Todd is. We know who the A-Team is. And we know what their games all do for us.
And we knew this was going to be the biggest jump in any of their games we've seen.
Correct. And it's space. It's space. The first time, like the unknown universe, right? And again, some people say 1,000 planets. Oh, there's going to be a bunch of dead ones. It's boring. There's going to be gas giants.
Can't wait to walk on those fucking desert planets or deserted, like those like ice balls, whatever. And just look around and take in the scenery, take screenshots, build the base there.
What it's about, bro. That's what it's about.
100%, man.
And Pete said in his interview too, he said the best question that our players, I love hearing them ask is, can I go do this? He's like, that's what we want our players to ask and to go try. Think of something and go try. Don't ask what the game wants you to do. He goes, a lot of games get the players to say, okay, what does this game want me to do now? He goes, our players, he goes, they ask, what can I go do this? He goes, that's what we want. Go try it. Go explore. Go push the limits. Go try to break the game. That's what their games are about. Sure, the main storyline's there. The golden path is there. If you want to follow that, that's all you want to do, so be it. There's players out there that do that. Great. No problem. But the fact is that you're only getting 1/10, 1/100th of what a BGS game is, which is fine. If it's cool for you, I'm not here to tell you how to enjoy your games. But for the rest of us, again, this is like a dream come true, having them put all of their knowledge into one game and giving us all this entire universe to go explore. I can't imagine what I'm going to find out there. I can't wait to see what I'm going to find out there. I can't wait to see what hour 1 is compared to hour 300, compared to hour 500, potentially maybe 1,000 hours in this game, especially with this game plus, whatever this game plus is. I have no idea what this is. They've never done this before. I have no idea what this is going to be. And by that point, then you're talking mods on top of it. It's a game that's going to live on. Pete talked about that. He said, we don't measure our players in hours. He goes, our games are measured in weeks, months, decades. He's like, that's how we measure our player engagement. He goes, that's insane to say that, but it's true. Yeah. So, I could just sit here all night and talk about this. Last thing, for all you Elder Scrolls fans out there, your fellow Elder Scrolls fans, I will leave you with this last nugget from the GQ. And again, go read this GQ article. It's fantastic. Who wrote this, by the way? I should give credit where credit's due. GQ, and it's done by Sam White. Sam White wrote this. Great job by Sam White, by the way. Let me find it again. I had to scroll up there to get his name. But they asked Todd about Elder Scrolls 6 and what that was going to be. And they tried to get Todd to tell him the code name he wouldn't tell him the code name, right? He said, no, I'm not going to give that to you. But they did ask him an interesting question. They said, is there anything you can tell me about what you want to achieve with it? And this was specifically about Elder Scrolls 6. And Todd said, quote, it's like, I don't want to answer, but I want to be polite. I will say that we wanted to fill that role of the ultimate fantasy world simulator. He pauses for a moment. Quote, and there are different ways to accomplish that given the time that has passed. Todd's got big plans for Elder Scrolls 6. Big plans for Elder Scrolls 6. If we think Starfield is on another level because of the scope, even though we're not going to be exploring 1,000 planets, Mav, in Elder Scrolls 6, what they do with that world, the fact that his goal is to make it the ultimate fantasy world simulator. There is no other team on this planet that includes CDPR, that includes Larian, that includes, throw out any RPG maker you want to right now. There is no other studio in the world that I would trust more to come close to reaching that goal than BGS.
Oh yeah. I mean, they set the standard every time they do one of these games, right? So it's like they push the genres forward. They create the new possibilities. They set a new level of possibility in gaming with these releases, right? So when Todd said Starfield end all be all space game, people were like, "Oh, it's just Todd, talking." Turns out Starfield's looking like it's going to be the end all be all space game, right?
Yep.
Like nothing we've played before.
Nope.
Elder Scrolls has already redefined the genre multiple times. 3 times now. And 4 if you count Elder Scrolls Online. Which
and how about Phil saying this is more like Oblivion than Skyrim?
I know, I said that earlier when you were gone. I know that just like spoke to my heart, bro. Because like, as much as I love Skyrim, like
I love Skyrim. Back and forth.
Yeah. Oblivion for me is like just hits a little bit harder because the RPG roots to it.
Correct.
And like that just I love that. He knew he was talking to the hardcore when he said that. Yes. I think,
he was saying that Todd was speaking the truth when he said we're going back to our roots, that we're going to be more RPG in this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Right. Like when they do Elder Scrolls, I mean, they're working on it now, right? But when it hits, there's going to be this level of hype we have for Starfield. But like, we're going to see something, because I think about the scale and scope of it. Now, it's actually like smaller than a game like Starfield, right? Which for me opens up different possibilities of what they could potentially do with their engine and all these different things. Like, as gorgeous as Starfield's going to be.
Yep.
It's think back to how great Skyrim looked for its time.
Mm-hmm.
You just fucking wait until we see Elder Scrolls 6 running for the first time on whatever Xbox version we're on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be one of those moments, dude.
It is.
It's going to be that moment when we first saw Skyrim. Remember that? I mean, it was like, damn. Remember he was like standing in the snow forest or whatever. Like, it was like a green screen. It was like, and he's like standing there, like it was like almost he was in the world or whatever. But it was like, is that what it looks like? It's like, no, it doesn't look like that. Like we just had played Oblivion and stuff. I was like, that can't look like that. But they created a whole huge, massive open world that was fully interactable. That looked like that. Can't wait to see what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to look like, dude.
Like we said, Mav, people forget what these games mean. Now they're starting to remember. But if you think the hype for Starfield right now, a brand new IP, is off the charts, wait until they get close to Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
The hype levels.
It'll be so long.
Bro, it's going to be so long. We're going to be coming off of Starfield, right?
Which will have, at that point, just
Yeah.
brought that name back where everybody
Correct.
remembers who they are.
BGS.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. So Fallout 76 really wasn't indicative. No, it wasn't indicative of where Bethesda is. Starfield's going to remind you all. But then, yeah, lead up, man, to Elder Scrolls 6 with how popular Elder Scrolls is as a franchise. People have been waiting extra long because of Starfield on top of it for the next installment, off of the success of Starfield, off of everybody remembering why BGS is BGS. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be on another level. Like seriously, like this is one thing, but by then, everything they've learned now from Starfield, working with Creation Engine 2.0, getting that experience, and then they can pour it all into one world, one land, whatever, however big Elder Scrolls 6 is. Like they just pour all of that into that one smaller space, like you said, Mav. Yo,
Yeah.
is going to be something else to see. People, I've seen, Mav, people talking about, why is this a generational game? Somebody explain to me why you guys think this is going to be generational. Nothing about this says generational.
Oh, yeah.
This is the thing that BGS fans or non-BGS fans, people who want to downplay or say that, you know, Bethesda games have never been good, that they're overrated. This is the things that those types of people, and again, it's fine. I don't expect everybody to love Bethesda games. It's not, doesn't work that way. The world's not like that. But the fact is, the people that don't have that affinity towards these games don't understand. It's never been about one aspect of their games that makes it a generational game. It's never been just about graphics, which have never been. Creation Engine's always been kind of behind graphically. Sure, there's moments where it's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, but it's been never cutting edge per se. It's never been about graphics. It's never been just about the writing, right? Or the quest lines. It's never been about just the randomness in the world. It is the complete meal that makes them generational. That's why they're different. Todd said in the GQ article, he said, when you look at our games, he goes, we know that we have the formula. He kind of, I'm paraphrasing now. He read the article, but he said, we start making our games and we know how to do this. And we know, and we've talked about this too, man. It's funny hearing Todd talk about this all the time. He's like, we know how to do this. We know what we're doing. But when you sit back and he goes, and we get to that point where we're getting close to finishing the game and we're playing through the game. And he goes, then I sit back and I realize we're still the only ones who can do this.
Yeah.
And he's being rightfully so
cocky,
proud and cocky of what they do. And it's true. Like I said, there's been plenty to come along and try. There's been some great moments in video games because of the influence of Bethesda games, AA and AAA games. But when you really think about the whole sandbox, the whole meal that they lay out before us as gamers, Bethesda is really the only one that does it this way. They're the masters. Yeah. They're the chefs. They're the top cooks. And that's what makes them generational. It's never one thing or two things that makes their games generational to those of us that love them. It's the entire package that sets the bar in the video game industry in these specific type of
new things now become possible because somebody has proved it to be.
Yep.
Whereas you thought about scale, ambition, story, interactivity, exploration, mechanics, graphics, all these things wrapped into one, right? On a scale you haven't seen before from any other game, right? Where you have those thoughts about, what are we going to see one day in gaming, right? And then a game comes out and it's like, this is what those thoughts you had about what could be possible in the future are now actually playable and in front of me in a game, right?
Correct.
And those are the people like Bethesda that create those experiences, right? Rockstar creates those experiences, right?
Correct.
Bethesda creates those experiences, right? BioWare used to create those experiences. Like, there's few and far between that upper echelon of studios that set the standard. Baldur's Gate 3 just did it with that genre with CRPG, right?
Yep.
Larian has stepped up their game to another level where they are in the different league now, right? With these other creators. And now it's in a different genre, right? Not all genres are different, you know? You'd say Turn 10 is that for racing for me.
Sure.
You know? There is something special when these things happen. And you could put Naughty Dog up there, right?
Yeah, you could.
You know?
Absolutely. For the narrative heavy games, hell
for
yeah,
that game, they set the standard with that kind of genre of that kind of game, right?
Uncharted took Tomb Raider's bar and pushed it higher. In a lot of ways, Uncharted 2, freaking one of my goats. I mean, one of my top 20 goats, probably one of my top 25 goats. Uncharted 2 is freaking amazing. They didn't change anything. They didn't change necessarily create a new genre or create a new, formula, but they took and pushed it a lot further. And that's what makes great studios.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. So those studios happen, and that's what creates those experiences. What pushes things to where they get. And this is one of those moments that we're about to have, right? Yep. And it's monumental. I think it's big for Xbox. But when you take a step back and look at it, and like Todd's right, they're the only ones that can do this. But then you think about what is the growth and potential going to be of Obsidian and In Exile in this genre, in these style kind of games, right? They're not going to be on the same scale. Obsidian's already come out and said that, right? That they're more on like the Oblivion-esque scale, right? Or more or so of Outer Worlds, right?
Outer Worlds, yeah.
And those kind of things.
Focused. Yep.
It's fantastic because you can't have everything be this, right? But what is their path for? Like Clockwork Revolution looked pretty damn special from In Exile. We've never seen them make a game like that before, right? Nope. It's pretty exciting to see all these great creators. And then you want to add another one in there? You want to add Playground?
Yep. With what they're doing with Fable?
We've seen so far from Fable, bro.
If that's what the game looks like, and 3-bits confirmed that's what the game looks like, then yeah, they set the bar. At least graphically, they're going to set the bar. We'll see about the rest of the game. But yeah, taking an old franchise, a beloved franchise, and pushing it forward.
Bottom line, if you like RPGs, if you like racing games, if you like shooters, unquestionably, unless you like JRPGs, right now there's a question with that, but that may even change soon.
Yes.
Unquestionably right now, because Sony doesn't make their own JRPGs, right? They're multi-plat or third parties, so the Xbox can get those, and I think they're going to. But unquestionably right now, if you're a shooter fan, RPG fan, or racing game fan, the best experiences the best experiences are on Xbox for those.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And those are very popular genres. Spartan 661 with the $5 says Morrowind capabilities in Oblivion and Skyrim. Sign me up. It's not just the graphics, but it's the capabilities, what you can do in a game never thought of.
Correct.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what we were saying, Spartan. It's everything. It's the whole package. It's not one thing. It's never one thing with BGS games. It's the whole package. And not everything stands out to every single person, right? But it's the fact that you can do it. And it's the fact that you can experience it. And it's the fact that you create your own. This is true role playing. Like RPG, the definition of RPGs is starting to get blurred because people want to bring in games like God of War and Horizon and things like that and say that those are RPGs. But when you talk about real RPGs, you got a couple different classes, right? You got Larian, classic CRPG, turn-based kind of game. And then you've got the Westerns, you got the JRPGs, of course, the Eastern flavor, right? And then you got Western RPGs. And Western RPGs, most of them were about you yourself, your own character, right? Creating your own character, living your own stories, doing what you want to do in that. Now, most games have limitations. Most games are kind of are much more focused, much more narrative. BGS is the ones that started really opening them up to everybody, right? We saw that with CDPR and Cyberpunk. And again, whatever your thoughts on Cyberpunk, they are what they are. One of my greatest all-time games right there. But those games are few and far between, but this is true RPG because it's you telling your story, Sure, there's a story in the game. Sure, there's a main quest line. There's other quest lines that you can follow. But the fact that you are given a sandbox where you can go create your own empire, you can go do what you want. You can go walk deserted planets for hundreds of hours in this game, taking pictures of different sunsets, sunrises, moonrises, different planets, whatever you want to do. You could become a virtual photographer in Starfield. Many people will. If you go on Twitter, virtual photography in video games is huge. The CDPR community there's a whole community that doesn't even play the game. All they do is set up photograph shops within Cyberpunk and take pictures, and they post them like they're real models. You can do this. You could take pictures forever if you wanted to do that in Starfield. That's what makes a really good RPG in this space for me personally. I love that fact. Not that I'm necessarily going to go do that, but the fact is, if I wake up one morning and want to go do it, the game allows me to do it. That's beautiful. That's exciting. That's what I live for. I love it.
Yeah. Well said.
Love it, love it, love it. Oh, Jasper. Oh, Jasper sending me the Starfield soundtrack is starting to leak.
Oh.
We didn't even speak about that. The music, bro, the music, Enan Zur, killing it. He was there opening night live. He opened up with the piano. Enan Zur, like I said, Skyrim is one of my favorite all-time video game tracks of all time. Like, I know that soundtrack. Like, I've listened to it like so many times. It's unbelievable. Enan Zur has a chance. I think he's creating the next great sound. It's a game soundtrack. The music, everything I've heard from moment to moment when they're playing the game, if you're not paying attention, sometimes it just blends in, which is what a lot of that music's supposed to do. But if you pay attention, he is setting the tone for so much of that game with his music. And again, for you guys who don't know, Todd has said this in multiple interviews. It is the truth. They start with the music in their games. They get the music started and then start building their game with the music playing while they're talking, while they're developing. A lot of times they have the music playing. They build the game around the music. That's why almost every single one of their games is memorable as far as the soundtrack goes. Creatives being creative. It's unbelievable, man. Enan Zur is going to kill it with this. All right. Mav. We just killed another hour. Just like that, sir.
Yep. Just like that.
Just like that on Starfield. We just killed another hour. What else you want to hit on this week, Mav? I mean, we've talked about it actually a lot because we got to a lot of different things here. Armored Core 6, folks, it is launch day for PC. I think worldwide launch is tomorrow, whatever it is. Armored Core 6 is crushing it. It's at an 85 Open Critic. Anybody wondering if From Software could go from making their traditional Souls games or Elden Ring back to Armored Core again? Again, Armored Core, never a big seller. Very niche in its genre as far as that goes. Anybody had any curiosity of how good From Software is right now? And if they're at their peak, this proves it right here. It's sitting at 85. It looks phenomenal. I've had Steel on in the background. He's still playing. He's still live streaming right now. It looks really good. Yes, it's cross-generational. No, again, it's not something that's going to set the bar graphically or anything like that. But for what it is as a mech game, it looks freaking really cool. It looks really good.
I was watching his gameplay while we're live.
Yeah.
And it looks really fun.
It looks so fast. Gene Park, of course. Everybody loves Gene Park, or most people love Gene Park. Super cool dude. Writes for the Washington Post, correct? I think he does. He came out and put out a tweet. He said, I played Armored Core 6, but I have not beaten it due to time constraints. So this is my impression. You know how huge those Final Fantasy 16 boss fights were, but much of it was pre-scripted? Armored Core 6 says, how about if you actually had to scale a Titan robot yourself? This is From Software mastering the art of set-piece battle, a lesson that's evolved since Demon's Souls all the way to Elden Ring. This game is hard. There are boss battles that took me an entire day to beat, but I was so in sync with the controls and action. Everything else about my life fades away as I begin to feel one with my robot. These battles require you to learn patterns, but also require quick reflexes. These guys made Sekiro, and although this game is nothing like that, it offers similar skill checks. If you can't beat a certain boss, you better go back to the garage and reconfigure your robot enough to the point where it makes sense for you and for the enemy. Fair warning. Old school AC fans will be in heaven. This game was made for us. This is a classic Armored Core game with no compromise. I can't wait to get back to it after I'm done reviewing that other game, Starfield. Witness the glory of the kinds of games FromSoft has always made, an experience so immersive in its control scheme, settings, and fight beats, enemies with different stages, that nothing else will matter when you're locked into combat. That's a hell of a write-up from Gene Park. And again, not a mech fan, you're not a mech fan, totally understand. For those of us that are mech fans, even me, I wasn't great at the old AC games. This one may be extremely hard for me. Don't care. I'm excited for it. Picked it up, downloaded it. I'm going to be playing it for 5 days before Starfield comes out. But if you were wondering about where Armored Core 6 is at, 85 on the meta, or 85 on the Open Critic, I should say. I use Open Critic. 85 on the Open Critic, and most people, Xbox era, most people are enjoying the hell out of this game. Period. Point blank. From Software, crushing it again. Yet map.
Yeah.
Totally different space. Totally different genre.
For sure. Amazing. FromSoft is another one of those studios, right? I mean, they create genres, right? They set the standard for what a new genre is. I mean, they get copycatted all the time and stuff now, right? For their defining, exciting games that has people realize they love. So it's no surprise that this game's reviewing well. And curious though, like how much it's gonna sell. I wonder what the numbers are gonna look like. I can't wait to see that, because I think with the different status they have now, it may elevate that excitement for this game. Yes. It is releasing at somewhat of a bad time, like a week before Starfield. However, I think fans of this kind of genre and this kind of game may be seeking this out anyway, and the good reviews are going to help it for sure. You had other releases like Immortals of Avium this week, Fort Solace as well. But I think Armored Core is obviously big. Yeah, it was weird seeing them knowing the reviews for it, seeing them have that presentation on Opening Night Live, right?
Yeah.
And then let's see, Immortals also kind of mid scores.
Immortals of Avium.
Yeah, some people really love it.
Love hate, right?
One of those games.
Yep.
I've seen really positive scores and reviews for it, and I've seen some people absolutely hate it.
Yep.
So interesting
100%.
there. There's another game called Blasphemous 2 that did come out. That's
Blasphemous 2, really good scores as well for a 2D side-scrolling Souls game. It is a Souls game through and through. Blasphemous 1 has a nice fan base. I've talked about this on Living Split Screen. Blasphemous 1 had a nice fan following, and I saw a lot of people in our community excited for Blasphemous 2, which is really cool because that indie dev has kind of perfected the 2D sprite-based Souls-like game. Like, it's damn cool looking. The atmosphere is freaking thick in that game. It's like a nightmare Castlevania. Like, it's crazy how good that looks and plays according to everybody. Again, not my style, but everybody else for sure.
I want to give a shout out to Jason Kyle, who said something on Twitter. Said, you guys should start responding to people in the live chats that just aren't giving you super chats. You used to do it, but got away from it to get more super chats. Thanks.
No, nope. That is not the case. You will find us on episodes that we are talking to the chat consistently on big news nights. You will always notice this on heavy news nights when me and Mav have a lot to cover. Then obviously we're talking a lot and pushing forward to try to get as much as we can news-wise in. So I think I could speak for both of us. I have not stopped interacting with the chat on our normal nights. We're always in the chat. So sorry that you feel that way, but that's not the case. We're not looking for super chats.
Yeah, never expected, always appreciated. Just thought that was funny because one thing I feel like we've kind of always done on this show, especially with your call outs at the beginning of the show, which we can't do at every show, but for most of our shows, You literally like will say hi to every single name in the chat, right? We try, if there's comments that stand out, sometimes we say hi. If we're in the middle of conversation, sometimes I'll say hi in the chat or whatever as well. But like generally we've had more of a reputation than other channels about interacting with our live chat, right? So I don't think that's changed. If you guys notice that about us, let me know on or it's just a one-off comment, because that's not what we try and do here, right?
Yeah,
but
not at all. Like that's not what we do here. You don't hear us ask for it. You don't hear us e-begging here at all for anything. Like ask once during the show to hit the like button and push us out if you can. That's it. Like that's not what we're about.
Let's get those memberships rolling, everybody. Let's get the memberships going. Let's get
Mav.
Yeah,
Mav, when does Fun Speculation Coffee start? When are you gonna start selling coffee?
I don't know, maybe soon. I'm gonna put our goals on the screen. You know, we're gonna see how many thousands of memberships and
guys,
chats we get.
Come on, guys, let's get the
goals.
Let's get the 25. Let's get the 25 membership train going. Let's go.
Make sure if
somebody gets 5, match it.
If you want your question answered, make sure you put a 5 there in the chat. We'll get to your question. You know, we'll get to you. Just need to see it with the money. No, that's definitely not it.
It works for some people. For some reason, it works. That's their shtick, and it works. You'll not hear me and Mav doing that. That's just not us. we know who that is. Jax82 says yes. Jax, I think everybody does.
Oh baby, membership. Yeah, we hit it. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, no, just a huge move. Just a huge
goals. Yeah.
You're cutting out. You're so damn loud right now.
Memberships. Sorry.
You're cutting out because you're so loud.
I'm sorry. I know. We know who that is, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Like I said, it works for him. Congratulations, dude gets to do it full time. Maybe we're doing it wrong, Mav. Maybe we should start that.
Maybe so.
No, this was just a big news night, everybody. So shout out to everybody for being here. We appreciate you all. We just want to get to as many topics as we could. So appreciate you all as always. Again, even if you lurk, love you all the same, and nothing but respect for coming out. That's always been the same mantra that we've had. Mav, Stalker 2.
No, these aren't pork rinds, by the way. These are animal crackers.
Animal crackers, not pork rinds. Thank God. I hate pork rinds. Gross. Stalker 2 getting high praise from Gamescom as well, Mav. So we did get news confirmation from the Stalker 2 team, GSC Game World. Shout out to GSC Game World and everything they've been through. The fact that they're still showing off their game and making Gamescom, it's insane to me. They did confirm that Stalker 2 is a Q1 2024 game, as we talked about earlier. But they have a playable demo at Gamescom. Saw Phil playing it with Todd watching a little bit. Some of our community members like Boxenberger and Gaz and everybody out there right now, Wandering Dutch, they've all had hands on. Every single person that I've seen that has had hands on say this is an extremely impressive game. And if this demo is indicative of what they're going to bring out in 2024 now, Q1, hats off to GSC Game World. This could be the next big thing. People are just absolutely loving this, Mav. You haven't seen anything different, have you?
No, I've seen just ultimate positive stuff. They had the clip of Phil and Todd playing it too. It was awesome. Again, like we talked about, the great games are just not going to stop. And between this one, early 2024, now we have a date for Warhammer. And not to say Warhammer Dark Tide is going to be that great. Supposedly, who knows? Maybe the issues are worked out by the time it hits console as well. But like, it's amazing, dude. To finally have that like quarter nailed down is a big thing. They got to deliver on it now because they put it out there. I feel like, you know, we'll see what happens.
Even if they didn't, again, I'm just gonna be like, whatever you guys are ready.
I'm just saying they're putting the pressure on themselves.
They are, right? They are, and they probably need to at this point too.
Right.
It's big for their families. Obviously, this is financial burden. I'm sure they've gotten a ton of help. I'm sure a ton of people are reaching out to them. I'm sure all that's true. But the simple fact is, still, they are pouring a ton of money into this game while their country's at war and their families are dispersed. They're dispersed. Like, yes, there's still a monetary part of this that could help them if they can get this game out. Again, the fact that they're even still making this game boggles my mind at this point, but they do have to put it out. So I'm sure they do want to set that kind of timeline for themselves and get it out. Really encouraging that they got it down to that kind of window, right, Mav? It's encouraging.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. I think they must be somewhat confident in it to put that out there. So early 2024, let's go. Another big RPG, post-apocalyptic open world sandbox game. The gun mechanics, shooting mechanics, fucking awesome. And that's what I'm most excited about.
Yep. No, it looks great. Boxenberger was actually one of the few ones that beat the demo, and they actually gave him a poster or something, or a framed picture. Yeah. He said he was one of the few ones that actually got through it.
I saw Phil died.
Yeah, Phil died. I didn't even understand what happened to him. It was like, what happened?
He was walking, all of a sudden the screen went black.
He was shooting somebody, but I was wondering if he shot somebody that he wasn't supposed to shoot or something like that. But
the dev apologized to Phil.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry you died.
I also read a quick snippet from somebody else who had played. I forget. It was an article. Somebody else who had played and said, well, Stalker's back. Start the game and my health is depleting in the world already. Like instantaneously, like when you start the game, your health is depleting because of probably the radiation. They're dropping you in there, and anybody who played the original Stalker will understand that's exactly what the game was like. Like it was death around every corner. Like you were on the cusp of death. That was part of the tension that the original Stalker created. That was at the time like no other game. Like that's why that, along with the decision making and the consequences and all that kind of stuff that they also have in those games, that's what made it unique and special at the time. Literally, the person that I read the article from, and I can't remember who it was, but they said that's exactly how this game drops you in. Like you start the game, your health is now depleting. Okay. Guess it's time to survive. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
For sure.
Yes, like Metro.
Alvin hit us with 5 Fun Speculation memberships. Congrats to speculators that got those. Thank you, Alvin. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alvin. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah. Why so serious? Like Metro. Yeah. Why so serious? I'm pretty sure you know the background, but maybe you don't. The Metro team was half of the GSC game world that broke away from the original Stalker team and started their own studio. There was an internal conflict. GSC game world actually shut down for a while. Half the team left and created their own studio and started the Metro series. That's why there's so much familiarity between the two. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
$4.99 for Spartan661. Thanks for shouting out my name at the beginning of the show, as you do with everyone that is in here at the start of it. Pong and Mav are great people. Spartan, appreciate you,
Spartan.
Thank you. Absolutely. All right. Mav, you got anything else on topic list that you want to jump into? I know there's a couple other things. BioWare laying off more, EA laying off more people from BioWare. Bro.
Dragon Age, come on, man. What's up? You know,
I'm not holding my breath, man.
Yeah.
I said that I was
heard is like things were supposed to be going well.
But it's not the fact. And again, they tried to play it off as all big corporations do. We're just, it's not going to affect Dragon Age. It's not going to affect Mass Effect. Moving on. Then you start seeing some of the people popping up on Twitter who lost their jobs. One of them, I forget her name. She was one of the original writers on Dragon Age Origins. So they're purging what little bit of the veterans they have left in BioWare. They're purging even more of those people. Like, that's heartbreaking to me. Like, that's, again, BioWare is maybe a shadow of what it once was. We all know this. I'm not going out on a limb. That doesn't mean they can't rebuild. That doesn't mean they haven't been bringing in talent. I've been hopeful that they learned their lessons from like Mass Effect Andromeda. I was hoping that they kind of had seen, like, don't go away from your original formulas. You don't do that. I was hoping that maybe Baldur's Gate 3 success would kind of light a fire underneath them for their last push with Dragon Age to get it out, Dreadwolf, and get it out and maybe be confident in what they've been doing, even though we know that they're trying to go more actiony, whatever. This right here does not bode well in my eyes BioWare and Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Like I'm crossing my fingers. Trust me, I want these to be huge games. I want them to be wildly successful. I want to go back to Dragon Age. I want to go back to Mass Effect. Like there's no question about that. I just not going to hold my breath. Also, real quick, Mav, and I'll get your thoughts. Grub said on Game S that they had originally had Dragon Age Dreadwolf coming out September of this year. They have now pushed it internally to summer of 2024. He said currently it's planned for 2024 at the earliest, but could be pushed back even further.
Which is, do you think, in a weird way, because of what kind of game Dragon Age used to be?
Yes.
Do you feel like this is a moment where EA took a look at where they were and what they had with Dragon Age,
and good night, Spartan,
and realize Baldur's Gate 3, how well it's doing, like, and what kind of game it is? Because really, it used to be in the same genre, like
too late.
But do you think that's why they may have pushed it back a little bit, even further, and like maybe trying to rework some things? Like, I don't know, man. It's like,
I think they're having problems finishing this game. We heard last year, I think it was, Matt, didn't we hear last year they had pulled some of the Mass Effect team over to complete Dragon Age, because Dragon Age is going to be the first out the door, right? Obviously, we know that they had pulled some of the Mass Effect team to try to wrap this game up. I think they're just having problems with it. Again, this is not the highly efficient, highly acclaimed BioWare that we grew up with in any way, shape, or form. And I just think that there's a lot of internal struggle to get this game right. And I think with them trying to get more mass appeal, going even more action heavy, you're changing fundamentally what Dragon Age is when you do this. And again, everybody can say, well, it's just mechanically, blah, blah, blah. Look at Final Fantasy. It plays fine, both turn-based or their new action-based. Yeah, but you're still changing the tone of the game when you go to an action heavy. Again, I understand the older Dragon Ages they were action, but you could pause and go tactical. I understand all that. Again, I played them. So I get that they were never fully turn-based. They were not full CRPGs. They were not that. But the fact is that the more you try to change that, the more you try to get mass appeal, it does wind up changing your formula for the game overall. And I think they're struggling with that to get it right. That's just my personal opinion. Again, we'll see. Maybe this will be the best Dragon Age that ever lives. I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath, man. I don't know, man. Sucks. It sucks for the people losing their jobs. Like I said, when I see veterans going back to Dragon Age Origins, the few that are still there getting let go, I'm like, oh no. That's the last thing you want to do. Somebody who understands the Dragon Age franchise frontwards and backwards. And I understand maybe they're done with the writing at this point, all that kind of stuff. Maybe her contract's, done. Sounds like she was part of the layoffs, so probably not. But the fact that you're just going to jettison somebody like that at this point, God, man, I don't know. I hope somebody good picks her up. She's well known. I know that everybody was retweeting her and saying everybody was posting at Phil and at Sarah and In Exile and Obsidian and Bethesda. Like, yeah, I mean, that's one of those people you want to bring on board if you can, because she obviously knows what she's doing. Again, some of her writing from Dragon Age Origins, like, again, that game was phenomenal. So it'll be interesting to see, man. It will be.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got, Matt. I don't know what else I got. Phil did talk about the 360 store closing. They did ask him about that. He said he would like to find solutions to keep the digital only games around. It didn't sound like he wasn't making a promise. He wasn't making a promise. He wasn't making a commitment. He was being Phil, and Phil does have emotions about that stuff, and he does care. And so he said, I'd love to find solutions, but also in the same response, he talked about, well, I know there was like 200 and some games listed that, were in that situation, but he goes, how many of those can be played on PC? So he was already saying like, well, they can still be played elsewhere. He mentioned the fact that people would love to play old games on their old hardware, but eventually that old hardware does wear out as well, and they're not making the old hardware anymore. So he was kind of like hinting that there's limitations there, as well as keeping old stuff around. So it seems like maybe there's a thought, maybe they got somebody trying to work around some stuff, but it doesn't seem like he's making a full-fledged commitment in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, sure. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's pulled miracles before, like with back and pat and stuff. So, but
he said we're giving you a year.
It's up to those devs and publishers, right?
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the day, like, I don't know, like all the games that Microsoft has done, put in the back compat program, and that they've had to get permission to do a lot of the games, and they've done amazing work with all of that, and they hit a cap, so they stopped doing it. But all those games are still going to be part of the ecosystem, and if the publishers and devs can't figure it out, if there's licensing issues with those that they haven't figured out, it's honestly, it's not on Xbox. You know what I mean? So they've done everything they can to this point. We'll see if they can come up with something else, but we'll see.
I got to mention this before we do outros and get everybody out of here tonight too, man. For all you old heads out there, we're getting a couple more remasters. Now, before you all groan, because I know a lot of people are sick of remasters. These remasters are done by Night Dive, who just did Quake 2 and did System Shock. Night Dive, I trust now 100%. They're not going to remake the game from the ground up. They are going to take what's given with their engine. I forget what their engine's called. They got a special engine that they do all of these games on, map. Starts with a K, and I can't think of the name of it.
Whatever it is, it's badass.
It's badass. Yeah. So anytime you put Night Dive and remaster, I'm cool, especially when you're going back to classics that we have probably no chance of ever seeing again. All right. So if they got to live on, but you're going to give me 4K, 120, whatever on current systems, cool. Number one, I'll start with, which I'm not as high on, but I know some people will be excited about. Turok 3 from the N64. They are remaking that game. So you guys are going to get our remastering. I didn't mean to say remake. Sorry, everybody. They're remastering Turok 3. I liked Turok 1 and Turok 2.
Is that the one that came in the black cartridge?
I believe so, and it was the futuristic one with the more Doom Quake style kind of enemies and some of it. There's still dinosaurs.
I remember I had pre-ordered it. I got it day one. I even got this it came with this Turok t-shirt and stuff that I had. So I remember that. It was okay. You know, it wasn't amazing.
No, it wasn't amazing, but the fact they're doing it, great. Cool. Bring it forward. I'm all about it. That's fine. But the one that I am super excited for, I would love a remake of this game. I would love them to I'd love those to reboot this franchise and bring it back. I'd love id to go get the licensing and do it, or even Machine Games go do this. It's not going to happen. So I'll take this remaster. Star Wars Dark Forces is being remastered by Night Dive, and they confirm 4K 120. Listen, I'm all about this. Anybody who's not an old head like me, anybody who doesn't remember what this was Doom reskinned in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Classic Star Wars, right? This is exciting for me, man. I don't know how you feel about Dark Forces, but I am pumped for this one. This one is it's coming later this year too. Both of these are coming later this year. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah,
I'll be down for this.
Honestly, like some games, my memory is such shit. Like, this was originally on the 64. You said?
No, Turok 3 was.
What was Dark Forces?
Dark Forces was on GameCube. I believe it was on GameCube. Here, I'll pull it and let you know everything it's been on. So it's been around for a while. So
like I recognize the box art, but I don't know for sure if I played it or not. I would have to watch like gameplay footage of it and stuff. But regardless, maybe I will now. I mean, because it sounds awesome.
Bro, it literally is Doom, but in Star Wars form. Literally. Like that.
Right.
It's fantastic. Like it's so
Doom,
cool.
Which era Doom? Like Doom 3 era or Doom 1 or
Doom
2?
1, Doom 1 and 2.
Okay.
Era.
Classic Doom.
Yeah, classic.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you jump?
Can you jump? That's a good question. I can't remember
because some of those old school shooters you can
Yeah, you
jump,
can't.
some you can't.
Some you can't. Like Wolfenstein, you couldn't back in the day. That's it.
Makes
That's
a big
good
difference.
Question.
But like Quake 2, movement's so much more fluid, right?
Yes.
So just curious.
Can you jump in dark?
That's a random question. Yeah. Somebody in the chat, let me know.
Yeah, you can. There's no long jump. It's a running jump. So hold down shift to run and then hit jump. So yeah, there is a jump.
Okay, so a run and jump.
Yeah, that's at least that's the first thing that pops up from the Steam community when I typed it in.
Okay.
So yeah.
In 1995, so I'd have been 12 years old.
Yeah. Yep, you would have been prime, right? You would have been in there.
That was PS1.
Yep, PS1. It was on PS1 for sure. It was on, and I believe it was on GameCube.
I had GameCube, but I took it and sold it like 2 or 3 times and rebought it. Like
I had it for a short period.
PS1 I had the whole way through. And I'm sure I probably played this, but it was probably
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't on GameCube. Really? I could have swore it was on GameCube. Chad, help me out. Was this not on GameCube? It was on PlayStation. It was on PC. I'm not seeing a game. Come on. Really? Am I remembering that completely wrong?
This was probably a game. I probably rented this.
I imagine you probably
rented. I probably rented it, and that's why I wouldn't remember, because I can buy a ton of games. Yeah. So I was a Blockbuster kid, or whatever other.
Maybe I'm thinking of Dark Forces 2. No, it wasn't on GameCube. I'm not seeing it on GameCube. Weird. It was on PC, Macintosh, and PlayStation. Okay. All right. I could have swore it was Dark Forces 2. Let's see here. No.
On PlayStation, it didn't get the best reviews.
No.
IGN gave it a 5. GameSpot gave it a 5.4.
Yeah. This is one of those games.
EGM gave it a 4.875.
This is I have no idea. This is one of those games, though, as time went on, more and more people loved it. Right. Dark Forces is freaking awesome. Dark Forces 2, Mav, got a 91 if you go against Metacritic. Right. I got a A- from Game Revolution. I got a 8.9 from GameSpot, an 8 from IGN, 94 from PC Gamer, 94 from PC Zone. Crushed.
Yeah, well, the first one even got way better PC scores than it did PlayStation scores.
Than PlayStation scores, because it played like shit.
Probably played like shit. It still was so much fun.
I didn't care because I was a Star Wars fan, right? So it didn't matter to me.
And then
it's one of those games.
Okay, fair enough. When did what did Dark Forces 2 come out on? Also PlayStation 1, or is it a?
No, it was PC only by the looks of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Right on.
Yep. Mandela effect. Cal-rate. Yeah. I swear I could see the box art for GameCube. I don't know why. That's strange. You do have those effects sometimes. Your memory places reality, just like the Sinbad genie movie that everybody knows that they watched, that everybody swears never happened.
There was a Sinbad genie movie.
Bro, there's never been one.
No,
that's one of the biggest Mandela effects out there. Look it up.
I know that the Bernstein Bears is one, like the spelling of it.
Yes.
And Chick-fil-A is one.
Yep.
The spelling of Chick-fil-A is definitely one as well. But the Sinbad movie. There's a Sinbad movie.
Here it is. Snopes. And I don't trust Snopes ever, but whatever. On this kind of stuff, I will. Did Sinbad play a genie in a 1990s movie? And again, we all knew the name of it too, called Shazam. And it goes on to say, although many viewers claim to clearly recall comedian Sinbad playing a genie in the movie called Shazam, those memories appear to be yet another example of the Mandela effect.
There's Kazam, that was Shaq.
That was Shaq. Yeah, we know about. Yep, that was Shaq. But everybody swear you just did it yourself. Everybody swears they saw a Sinbad movie where he was a genie. It was called Shazam. Nope. Never happened. Supposedly.
I could see the box art of him with with a gold in purple.
I'm telling you, bro,
gold, turban or something, with him kind of going like this, and then having
Iron Mike gold, Sinbad the comedian
pants or
that
kind of into a genie lamp.
Everybody. Yep. See, Steele says that he came out about it, and Sinbad himself stated the industry pushed it underground. So he's feeding into the conspiracy, but I'm telling you, everybody knows that movie.
What did the cover of Kazam look like? Maybe I'm getting Kazam and Shazam mixed up. His Shaq is wearing purple and gold.
Yeah.
But like, it's still I had a completely different image in my head though of the the Shazam movie.
What year did Kazam come out?
This was 96.
96. So I was already 21 years old. I was not watching Shaq and Kazam. So that's not the movie I remember. I remember as a kid watching Sinbad and the Genie movie.
So like it doesn't exist on the internet anywhere.
No.
Like nobody has like a old like VHS.
VHS. No.
If it existed, somebody would have a VHS.
That's what everybody says, but why does everybody remember this movie? It's like one of the biggest Mandela effects out there. It's crazy, bro.
Maybe we're confusing another Sinbad movie with a Genie movie. Like this movie. What is this movie? No, this is the Mandela effect thing. I just typed in Sinbad movies and this is like everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, so like Shazam found. Okay, hold on.
There's people that have created fake ones.
What? This is interesting.
Yeah, people create fake ones all the time.
Yeah, this image here.
Yeah.
Is that real or is that fake?
Faked. According to everybody, it's all fake. I don't know. Like, why would everybody say? Why would the movie industry say this never existed? Like, it doesn't make any. Like, why? There'd be no reason for him to ever deny it. There would be no reason for anything. There would be no reason for anybody to ever do that. Like, I just.
Yeah, I mean, this is like what I have in my memory. And if this is a fake, that's like the best fake in the world ever. Like, look how old it looks.
Yeah, Mr. Xbot, I've said that too, that it's a bleed through from the alternate universe, like a glitch in the Matrix where it's like something strange where we all have this universal memory that's not real. Like, it's weird, man.
I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, Mr. Seven Digit, the one with Shaq was real. That was Kazam. Yep, that one was legit.
Interesting. All right, fair enough.
Yes, Mr. Consistent Xbox click.
Oh my god, you did it again.
I did it again.
You did it again.
We are telling you that yes, according to everybody, the Sinbad movie that everybody remembers, Shazam, is not real. That's again, you can look it up on the internet. It's like one of the biggest Mandela effects ever. Just saying. I don't know. Strange. Something happened to us. That's when the timeline shifted. That was our old timeline. That's when things went bad when that movie came out and it shifted. And that's why we all remember it, but it doesn't exist now. That's exactly what happened, Mav.
We're in the Matrix now.
We are in the Matrix, which is getting more and more real as we go forward with AI. Yeah. So, let's go. What a hell of a show, man. We have been on for 3.5 hours. We absolutely killed this week. No, we did not go through the future game show. No, we did not cover the opening night live and everything that was talked about there. I think our conversations were much more interesting, but there was a lot of good stuff between those two shows. I have to finish watching the future game show. Tons of stuff showing. Opening night live was more, there wasn't nothing new. It was more updates on everything coming out. Again, there was some really good showings. Mortal Kombat 1 continues to look ridiculously good, right? Tekken 8, we got a release date this week too for that, I should say. January the 26th, 2024. We're going to start out the new year with the third major fighting franchise release. Unbelievable comeback for the fighting genre. Tekken 8 looks so good. That one I'm jumping into for sure. Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, and all their updates to that whole entire game. If you've held off playing Cyberpunk, if you get done with Starfield, if you get done with Baldur's Gate 3, or even if neither one of those are your cup of tea, but you like Cyberpunk, you just never touch Cyberpunk 2077. The update is free. So they are going to update the game when they drop Phantom Liberty, and it changes the entire game. They basically reworked the entire game. Jump in, please, please. I implore you. You can find it on sale all the time. Jump into Cyberpunk 2077 with confidence. If you're on Series X, if you're on PC, if you're on Series S, if you're on PlayStation 5, jump in. The game is phenomenal, and these new updates look so good. When I'm done with Starfield, Baldur's Gate 3, I'm going to pick up Phantom Liberty and start my second playthrough. My first playthrough was 300 hours, and start my second playthrough on a whole new game. Mav has to go back and start a new game because he never finished Cyberpunk in the first place. So he's going to go back and start a whole new game underneath the new game, because it's like a brand whole new game. The way that it plays now, the way the skill trees are set up, everything has changed. Cops now chase you. Cops now react appropriately. Like everything is different now in this game. So go check that out. That was great. Black Myth Wukong, that's another one we didn't talk about, man. Getting rave reviews. There's a demo there. Boxenberger posted a picture today because they had a line queue, and they showed how many minutes it was going to take for you to get to go play Black Myth Wukong. When he got there, 300 minutes. He posted a picture on Twitter and said, sorry, folks, not going to wait 5 hours to play Black Myth Wukong.
Wow.
300 minutes. I know Destin got a hold of it and said it was effing incredible. That was his Twitter post, or his X post. So Black Myth Wukong looks like it's living up to all of our trailers. Yeah. Bro, I'm just running through this real quick.
That's 2024 is what they said for that.
2024. Right? So yep, exactly. 2024 coming to everything. They announced that too as well. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, not skipping anything. It's going everywhere. Black Myth Wukong is going to be
right move. Right move.
Yep. Right move for sure. Oh, Crimson Desert map. Real quick. I want your impressions on Crimson Desert, bro. I kind of heard them because I was watching you guys. You and Jasper did a fantastic job. But Crimson Desert blew a lot of people out of the water, man. Pearl Abyss, killing it. Single player, they've confirmed. All single player. Right?
It looks great. It looks absolutely fantastic. The mechanics,
everything you can do.
That, like, it's on my radar for sure. I'm really looking forward to it.
They showed you pole vaulting over a wall.
Yeah, it looked like a mix of like Assassin's Creed and like what Jasper said, The Witcher 3, and like all these different games, like open world sandbox games, like mixed together. Also, like a little Ghost of Tsushima in there, like it's well, like
these Korean devs are just killing.
It looked great, bro. It really did. You know,
it looks so beautiful. It looks so interactive. It just looks like this mix of all sorts of different types of games. There's like some sci-fi to it a little bit, where he's traveling through those gates. Like, it doesn't look like regular high fantasy magic. It looks like sci-fi effects. Like, this game looks to be, again, 2024 Mav is lining up to be a gigantic year. We've got RPGs coming next year like Skittles, bruh. It's going to be nuts how many big games are next. Again, they might not be genre defining like Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield. We might not get like those types, but Dragon's Dogma 2, Crimson Desert, Black Myth Wukong, like, we are getting some big games coming next year. Crimson Desert, Pearl Abyss, for anybody who doesn't know, Black Desert Online is their game. Steel absolutely loves it. Shout out to brother Steel. I know he's in the chat. He absolutely loves it. He put hundreds of hours. It's not for everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's an MMO. It's a Korean MMO, so it's got a different flavor to it. I played it for probably close to maybe 80, 100 hours, somewhere in there back in the day, between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. But they are now doing a single player RPG that they showed off, 2 years ago, Mav? We saw it. This is the one where you can ride dragons. They've got that aspect to it as well. So Crimson Desert, keep your eyes open for it. If you did not see the new gameplay trailer that they just put out, go watch it. It blew up. A lot of people are talking about this, going, oh my God, I need this in my life right now. Can't wait to see that as well. More of that as we get closer to next year. Lords of the Fallen showed off another great trailer. Looks absolutely incredible. some JRPG stuff in here. Honkai Star Rail looked great. Zenless Zone Zero looked great. We got an Ice-T Payday 3 trailer. That was funny. Delta Force looks good. Now I know, Mav, I heard you say, didn't you say that they like stole some assets from Call of Duty, or Jasper
yeah,
did?
Yeah,
like that?
He said that they stole some animations or
Yeah.
something from
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It looks cool.
Good, though. Yeah.
Looks good. Cool. Another shooter. Hey, looks good to me. Homeworld 3 trailer. That's coming out in February next year. Grand Space RTS. My God, I've got the original remastered and number 2 downloaded on my PC. I bought them during the Steam summer sale. I've started playing them. I'm going to have to play a lot of them before Homeworld 3 comes out. Controlling units in a 3D space, meaning that you have to control where they are in that space, is crazy compared to regular RTS.
Yeah.
Like it's on another level. So getting ready for Homeworld 3 though, because I love the look of that game. What else do we get here? Aura History Untold got a new trailer, looked really good. Too bad we still don't have a console release on that, but it is coming to PC next year as well. Yeah, it's pretty much from the opening night live. There was a lot of great trailers in there, though. A lot of great trailers in there. May I have anything about opening night live at all?
That was a fantastic show. As better than I expected it to be.
Yep. Too.
There was not as many commercials.
Oh, cool. No.
Which was
Keely's learning. We talked about that. Keely's learning. Mav. Every show he gets a little bit better.
Yeah.
He does. He did have Troy Baker come out and talk though.
Yeah, there was a couple moments there, like the whole cosplay section, like it was.
Oh yeah, that thing was just filler.
Our chat was going crazy for different reasons during opening.
Oh yeah, we were.
That's
right. That's right. That's right. There was lots of peaches. There was lots of peaches.
It's like I was just laughing at you guys.
Eastside Vandal was off the chart.
Y'all were just making me die with the comments in the chat. It's like, guys. Yeah. Calm down. It's okay. Games, But no, it was an entertaining show. It was fun. It was fun to watch.
Here comes Jesse B. Started up again. Jasmine.
Oh God.
Yep. It was a great show. It was fun to watch. And again, the pacing was really good, except for, like you said, the cosplay part and the Troy Baker part, whatever.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the gameplay trailers, again, it was mostly all stuff we'd seen previously, mm-hmm. But again, getting like a new Crimson Desert trailer, getting a new Black Myth Wukong. It was
shadow
great.
Drop there, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Age of Empires 4 shadow drop there. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, it was a great show. It was a great way to do it. Keely did it nice. So
the Mortal Kombat gameplay, oh my God, it's so good,
bro. The story is looking again. I play those games. I don't do multiplayer fighting games, guys. I'm not a sweaty. I don't care about multiplayer. I care about the story. I have a good time with any of the stories. I don't care if they're short or if they're long. Mortal Kombat, though, after playing Mortal Kombat 11, loved that freaking story. I cannot wait to play Mortal Kombat 1 because this story looks awesome.
Yeah.
The way they're bringing back characters like a young Raiden. Oh my God. Looks just so dope. I can't.
Looks awesome.
It's going to be great. I'm not going to jump into it day one, but definitely going to be jumping into Mortal Kombat 1 at some point. So, all right. Let's get everybody out of here, Mav. It's been a nice, cool 3 hours and 40 minutes. Listen, chat. You guys were all absolutely incredible. Over 200 people for a long time tonight. Again, thank you all for being here. All love, all respect. Every time you come out and support any of our shows, all the shows, not just here on Fun Speculation Network. It doesn't matter if you're on Booms. It doesn't matter what you do. You are a part of this community, and we appreciate every single one of you all the time. So thank you for being here. This is why we do this. What an exciting week, Mav. What an amazing time. So much news, and Starfield just continues to build and build. 2023 continues to get better and better. 2024 lining up already.
Yeah.
Golden age, brother. What do you got coming up? We got Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. What else you got coming up?
Tomorrow night's Xbox Ultimate. We have Dusty Uno making his first appearance.
Nice. We got the Dusty coming.
Yeah, he's going to come hang out tomorrow night on Xbox Ultimate Podcast. But I do have a channel announcement to make.
Oh yes, I was going to say this in the beginning of the show and I totally forgot. Yes, go for it,
I'll
man.
make it tomorrow as well because different people watch different.
But get your flowers off, man. Bring it back.
So for those that don't know, we used to have a show on this channel called Fun Pop. And, it was our second podcast that we started after Xbox Ultimate. And we ended up having like roughly 60 something episodes, maybe something like that. And we went for, a long time, and, just got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. And we had PM in the PM, we had FSP, we had Xbox Ultimate, we had Fun Pop. And at that time, it's like, we got to take a step back from something. And that took a step back from Fun Pop. And that was, last show was in June of 2022. So about half of the length of our channel, right? We had Fun Pop. Our channel's grown a lot since then. It's in a much different place, more capable of trying to get more content up, also because of the amount of support from the community and everything you guys show. So after discussing with Psychonauts, with Jasper, and also 3-Bit may make an appearance here and there, we are bringing back Fun Pop. So Fun Pop will be back September the 5th, and we're going to go, that's Tuesday. We'll go Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern time, starting September 5th. And that is a show where we talk about movies, TV shows, like comic-y type stuff, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, all this other stuff besides just gaming. All of our other shows focus so heavily on gaming, where we can have more conversations like video game shows, video game movies, also like all this other kind of pop culture type fun, geeky stuff, man. So looking forward to bringing that back. Special shout out to the panel because they wanted to do it, right? These guys volunteer their time.
Congrats, bro.
It's
That's
just
huge.
We missed it,
it's a
man.
big part.
We missed it like so much. But yeah, I'm happy to bring it back, and we'll see how it goes, right? Want to try and stick with it. So thanks everybody for checking that out. If you do, if you've seen it before and you're excited for it to come back, I know there are a few people that are. I'm excited too. So anyway, yeah, that's the announcement, bro. But besides that, yeah, tomorrow night's show, and then on Sunday this week I will be on Games Talk Live with Fonz as well. He just made the announcement, so I'm free to say that. And
you're supposed to do that last week.
Yeah, I was supposed to do that last week. Something came up.
He had to cancel. Yeah, he had family stuff. Yep.
But yeah, we're doing it this week.
Awesome.
Plume is going to be on as well for the other guests, so I'm excited to be on with him. And then we'll be back Monday for Fun Speculation Podcast. And next week is a special week, everybody, because next week is Starfield week. We will be leading up
1 hour.
Leading up to PM in the PM, which will have a 1 hour lead up to Starfield launch, in which I will commence to stream. And Pong will go probably start streaming or something over there on Living Split Screen. So gonna absolutely be a fun week next week. I can't wait.
Bro.
This weekend's gonna be a long weekend though, dude. I'm like, I just want I want it to be next Wednesday night right now. You know?
Yep. The good news is work's so busy right now for me that it's gonna fly by. After I get through this weekend, next week is gonna fly by because I'm gonna have so much pressure to get stuff done through Thursday, and then I'm off until the following Wednesday. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Right on.
That it?
Yeah, that's it. What about you, sir?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And again, congrats, man. Again, bringing back Fun Pop. I know it's got a special place for a lot of people. So it's going to be fun, even though I'm not interested in most of the topics, unless you guys do Star Wars or X-Men.
That's where the infamous, that's the show where the infamous Pong gamer face came from.
I have been on there too. Yes, I have been on Fun Pop a few times to go off on Star Wars rants, X-Men talk, all sorts of stuff. But I don't normally show up there because I don't care about movies and TV anymore like that. But no, it's a cool show. A lot of people are going to be excited to have it come back. So it's awesome. I'm happy for all the brothers here. This week, listen, folks, again, just a phenomenal night. Tomorrow night, Xbox Ultimate. I'll be here, of course. So be here with us. We're going to have a great show tomorrow night, bringing some different voices as we always do on Friday, and get some different perspectives on this huge week of news. Huge. And who knows what else is going to come out tomorrow. We'll see. Starfield is ramping up. We're getting a lot of information. And then, of course, Saturday mornings, you know the drill. Living Split Screen. Mission 1K has succeeded. S.T.A.L.K.E.R did stream the other night, The Evil Within Part 2. He did stream that as part of hitting 1K, but the mission continues. So please join myself and my brother from another Steel Rain Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3+ hours. Buckle up. We're going to have big opinions and big topics on Saturday. You know that. Steel's going to be nonstop about how Armored Core 6 is game of the year and nothing else matters. And he doesn't even care about Starfield anymore. I can just hear him in his words trying to get me going on Saturday morning. This is what he's been doing for a while now. But anyways, we're going to have a fun time. I'm going to have some thoughts on Armored Core 6 because I'm going to get some game time in with it as well. But be there Saturday morning. And then I do have an extra show Saturday. Saturday is going to be a full day for me. I have a show that I've frequented a few times. I haven't been back in probably over a year and a half, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. Got an out of the blue invite. Could not turn it down. So prior to the shop, right up to the shop itself, I will be somewhere else. It hasn't been officially announced yet, so I will wait for that to happen, but keep your eyes and ears open for that one. Love the host. Just absolutely great. And then, of course, Saturday nights, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam channel. Be there. The Shop Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Blam, Fuzzy, myself, and I don't think he's talked about any guests yet this week. Maybe he did, but I don't remember. But anyways, just be there anyway. Saturday night, no matter what, it's great. It's fantastic. It's the best way to end your Saturday night. The Shop Podcast. We had a whole show last week with Mav on the Starfield. That's all we did was talk Starfield all last week. It was crazy. We're going to talk more this week. We'll probably have more talk about the, opening night live and all that good stuff and Gamescom in general, but be there Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Next week, it starts all over again. Hit Tuesdays, Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick. He just had a great X vlog today. I got to go back and listen. I could not listen because work was so busy, but he had Skullsy on. Skullsy hasn't been around much. He's been having some health issues. He's been public about it. He posted it. That's the only reason why I'm talking about Skullsy. You know him. Mav and I have had him over here on PM and the PM. One of the biggest Bethesda fans ever, one of the biggest Bethesda channels in the community. The guy who dug up code names, knew about Starfield before pretty much anybody else did. Like Skullsy knows his Bethesda. We had a great time with him. We're going to have him back. Mav and I are planning on having him back on PM and the PM after Starfield is out for a bit to talk about it. He had a great show with Skullsy, but on Tuesdays, he does Xbox Factor podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Great panel over. Just introduced C Money as one of the new panel members. Great new member of this community. Been making some waves. Really, really good opinions and good talk. So check out that on Tuesdays. Thursday nights, like Mav said, PM and the PM right here. 1 hour special lead up to launch of Starfield. Gonna be a hype show. You already know I might be crying live on the air as I'm so excited. We're gonna have a great time next Thursday. Be there 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, 1 hour. Then we're going live streaming. It's Starfield, more Starfield. Period. It's going to be freaking amazing. Anyways, golden age of gaming, people. Get out there, enjoy it, play what you love what you play. Have a fantastic Friday, beginning of your weekend, and I'm going to talk to you all real soon. Have a great night. Mav, get us out of here, bro.
Peace out, everyone. Have a great night.